homestead hat absolutely free. Everyone who becomes an Angel Guild member using our link is automatically entered to the contest. When you join, you're supporting meaningful pro-American storytelling, and you're supporting RAV at the same time. Scan the QR code on your screen right now, or text the word RAV Angel to 75802. After you scan or text, make sure you follow the steps provided. When you complete the steps and join the Angel Guild, you'll be automatically entered to win that exclusive homestead hat, a perfect holiday gift for yourself or someone you love.
Be one of the first 50 people to sign up and win a hat automatically. Hurry while there's still time.
So scan that QR code or text RAV Angel to 75802. Happy holidays from all of us at RAV.
This is American Sunrise Early Edition, the headlines that matter. First, I'm Brian Glenn. A lot unfolding right now. Let's get to what's driving the day. Exposed anti-ICE protesters bought and paid for, collecting fat checks. One mayor confirms it and exposes the pipeline. He joins us moments from now. Meanwhile, whistleblowers say the homeless crisis is being weaponized, billions in tax dollars diverted, misused, and a direct link to illegal immigrants. The goal? Power. The details straight ahead. And now, the image-sparking outrage. Kids weaponized as young as 5 years old marching against ICE. Professional signs, scripted chants, the brainwashing in full swing. American Sunrise Early Edition starts right now.
Welcome to American Sunrise Early Edition. The show where faith, freedom, and the values that built this nation take center stage.
You people and others like you built this country.
Join us as we break down the stories that matter.
FAFO. If you don't know, now you know.
American Sunrise Early Edition on Real America's Voice starts now.
All right, good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. Lots in the headlines. We'll also get to today's forecasts. Let's go ahead and get to that with Weather Nation's Tracy Anthony. Tracy, good morning. For all of you watching right now, you see at the bottom of the screen, scan that little QR code to join the Weather Nation family. Even better, you'll have the opportunity to do your hometown forecast. We'll await you. We'll head on over to the Real America's Voice chats on Getter, Rumble, and YouTube. And in the 9 a.m. hour of American Sunrise, well, you might be selected to deliver your hometown forecast live. So be a part of the fun and excitement. Join us right over there on Weather Nation. But Tracy, lots of weather still in the news. What is the major forecast today for the United States?
You know, we're kind of on the rebound. So a lot of us still waking up on the cooler side, and the winter storm has pushed out of the area, but areas like North Carolina still dealing with some impacts because of the cold temperatures and the snow and ice on the ground. So refreezing going to be a big issue here this morning. The southeast, as in Florida especially, still dealing with some extremely cold temperatures, and we're still talking about some power outages from the storm 10 days ago. So Tennessee still struggling to get power back on for everyone. So kind of those impacts of cold that will impact Florida this morning, and then black ice across parts of North Carolina. But we're still under the cold weather advisories, so falling iguanas still possible here today throughout South Florida. But across areas like North Carolina, it is the black ice that's going to cause some major issues. So as temperatures throughout the day warm above freezing, that snow and ice starts to melt, but then overnight we plunge, so then that refreezes. So they're still dealing with some issues, and we actually have another storm system that's going to be working across the mid-Atlantic. Now, the snow with this system is a little more isolated and going to be a little farther to the north, but impacting areas of Virginia and then we're talking some showers and storms across the southeast by the end of the week. So that's going to be that next system. But temperatures, we're staying chilly out across the Great Lakes. That's where the Arctic air is lingering. But out west, that's where temperatures are trending well above average. Phoenix, 82 degrees by this afternoon. And then even into Wednesday, we're going to feel those temperatures getting close to 90 degrees out in LA. So we kind of have both ends of the spectrum here across the U.S. It's the extreme cold temperatures out east and the record heat out west. And it's really going to be impacting everywhere from Southern California all the way to Seattle. So, Brian, that's kind of what's going on from coast to coast. But at least I'm looking forward to finally having some normal temperatures. I am so tired of the cold here in South Florida.
Yeah, well, I know that many in Florida right now are appreciating these cooler temperatures because you guys certainly bake in the summertime. Tracy, we appreciate it.
Yep.
We'll see you back on American Sunrise. All right, get lucky enough to get your hometown forecast, go over to Weather Nation, scan the thing. All right, let's check out today's Bible verse first, and we'll get into a top story. It comes from Corinthians 4:18, and it says this: while we do not look at the things which are seen, but the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporary, but the things which are not seen are external. Good words there. All right, let's turn to our top story. We're seeing growing evidence that these anti-ICE protests are bought and paid for. El Cajon Mayor Bill Wells says protest after protest, same playbook, same formula. Take a listen.
What if we, as Republicans, would have went to the border and protested? Instead, we just let everybody come in.
You know why? It's because we don't have a George Soros that's funding these operations. These people are being paid between $80,000 and $120,000 a year to be paid protesters. When you're a paid protester and you're a kind of a wingnut, those two things go hand in hand. And yes, you'll fly to other cities and stay there and put your body at risk of fighting the federal government. There's an anarchy happening that I worry about people. I know people are compassionate, and I get that. I want to be compassionate towards people too. But if you start throwing out the laws of the federal government and saying, well, I'll follow this law, but I won't follow that law. I'll be an anarchist here, but I won't be an anarchist there, and I'll fight against anarchy in some other way, then you're just inviting the destruction of the country as a whole, because without the rule of law, we're going to fold.
All right, Mayor Bill Wells joins us now on the show. First of all, good morning, Mayor. Great to have you on the program.
Good morning.
Okay, so let's get into this paid protesters. You know, I've often said that, you know, being in D.C., we saw the same people in front of the Supreme Court that we see in front of the White House, and we see the same people that are going around the country protesting whatever cause, fill in the blank. And I kept telling myself, and I kept telling our viewers, these guys have got to be paid. There's no way they're that compassionate about a particular issue. There's no way they're that committed unless they're getting a paycheck. And it looks like you've also discovered that as well.
Yeah, well, I think you're exactly right. You know, I've dealt with this in my own town. We had our own protests after Ferguson, Missouri, and we noticed that our police said none of the people on the streets were people that they knew or people from identified as being from the San Diego area. They all came from Chicago and Los Angeles and New York. And then later, I've recently had anti-ICE protesters that show up every week at my council meetings and scream Nazi at us, but we don't know them. They say they're locals, but we've never seen them before, and they don't show up for any other kind of El Cajon type happenings. So it's really easy to kind of get the suspicion. But then you hear things like James O'Keefe uncovering the fact that these nonprofits like The Road New York has a budget of $30 million. And we know that George Soros is committed to globalism, and we know he's committed to destroying the United States and bringing communism into the United States. And we also know that there's billions and billions of dollars that are missing from places like Minneapolis and California. We have no idea where they're going, and they seem to be funneling back into this same protest, which to me has the same goal, which is to tear America down to its studs and rebuild it as a communist utopia.
And what I want people to understand that live in El Cajon is they're allowing, not they, and I'm not saying your community's allowing this, but outsiders are coming into your great community, causing a disruption in an event that something would happen, some type of tragic event. It's a stain on your city that wasn't caused by your city. It was caused by outsiders. These people are endangering your community.
Oh, yeah, there's absolutely no doubt about it. But it's not just my community. I mean, I see this lurch towards anarchy everywhere in the country. And I think that, for a long time, even since the 60s, we've kind of had this laissez-faire attitude about it, saying, just let them protest. It's all going to go away. But I see a different feeling out there right now. There's a more sinister feeling in protesting right now. And I really believe that because of the embrace of communism, which really should be a taboo, that everybody in America should say that is just a line that cannot be crossed. Because we know historically what happens when countries embrace communism. They lose control of their country. God is dead. Personal rights are dead. And once people start fighting back, communism is enforced by the barrel of the gun every single time. And I think people think we've got a lot of time before we have to really deal with that. I don't think so. I think it is right on the cusp.
Mayor, has your city done anything to prepare law enforcement for potential protests that might scale into a size that potentially you might have a little bit more difficult time controlling? Like, how is your police force and other members in your emergency response preparing for these potential paid protesters?
First off, I've got a fantastic police force. I think we're the only police force in all of California that is completely up to speed, completely at full strength. And I think that's because we're a conservative city and police officers want to be here. But on top of that, we have great mutual aid packages with other law enforcement agencies. Like I said, we had a protest after Ferguson, Missouri, and for 3 weeks, we had over 350 police officers on the street every night. And we were really the only city that had that happen, where we didn't have any burning, we didn't have any looting. We controlled that whole situation. I have complete confidence that because we're not going to take the stance that they're taking in Minneapolis, where we're going to give people a room to protest and we're going to watch burning and say it's peaceful protest, that we'll have a good handle on it, and we'll put it down very quickly if it arises.
Yeah, I just thought of something. If we can prove, or let's just say one of these outsiders commits a crime in your city, vandalizes something, assaults someone, assaults a police officer, could you charge them with a crime and then put basically a restraining order that they cannot enter that city again? Maybe that prevents some of these people to keep coming back. Just an idea.
Well, it's not a bad idea, but you have to remember where I live. I live in California. California is as lawless a state as there is in the United States of America. The entire law enforcement apparatus is designed towards protecting criminals and not citizens. In fact, they disdain the citizens and will call you racist and every kind of word they can think of anytime you really talk about protecting the rights of law-abiding people. It's a struggle every time we do anything in California. And so the kind of common sense action that you're talking about would probably never happen.
Well, Mayor Bill, we appreciate you coming on with us today to talk about this. And of course, let us know if we can be any help to you in the future to help expose some of the problems that you might be experiencing there in the state of California. Thank you so much.
I appreciate the good work you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Up next, parents demand answers after children are drawn into anti-ICE protesters. Take a listen.
I'm pulling my child today. This is my daughter's middle school. Being allowed to protest ICE agents, disrupting traffic, having everyone honk. I'm pulling my child from school today.
When the lights go down, the truth comes out.
This is built like a chicken McNugget, but...
This is After Hours with Alex Stein. No filter.
You're a globalist. You don't care about America.
No apologies.
You're a pro-abortion when you should have been aborted.
The undisputed king of trolling.
I was recently sexually assaulted within the metaverse.
I want to vaccinate your mom.
They tried to cancel us.
Deplatforming works.
She wants to kill babies, but she's still beautiful. Look at that booty on AOC. That's my favorite big booty Latina.
Politics, culture, hypocrisy.
They want them to have their penises cut off.
Uncensored and uncontrolled.
Cut your penis off, actually.
That's what I'm saying. They admit they want to cut people's penises off.
Late night just got dangerous. After Hours with Alex Stein. Coming soon to Real America's Voice.
This holiday season, Real America's Voice is proud to partner with our friends at Angel Studios for a special giveaway you won't want to miss. As they launch season 2 of their hit series Homestead, we're giving you the chance to win an exclusive Homestead hat absolutely free. Everyone who becomes an Angel Guild member using our link is automatically entered to the contest. When you join, you're supporting meaningful pro-American storytelling, and you're supporting RAV at the same time. Scan the QR code on your screen right now, or text the word RAVAngel to 75802. After you scan or text, make sure you follow the steps provided. When you complete the steps and join the Angel Guild, you'll be automatically entered to win that exclusive Homestead hat, a perfect holiday gift for yourself or someone you love.
Be one of the first 50 people to sign up and win a hat automatically. Hurry while there's still time.
So scan that QR code or text RAVAngel to 75802. Happy holidays from all of us at RAV.
All right, welcome back, America's Sunrise Early Edition. I am Brian Glenn. That's a live look at the White House this morning as we make our way into this Tuesday. Here's some of the headlines that we're tracking first. On immigration, once again, the American people have spoken. A new Signal poll shows a strong support for the law. 73% say that illegal entry is breaking the law. That sounds correct. 61% support deportations. 58% oppose defunding ICE. Now, bottom line of all of this is Americans want the law enforced, no doubt. All right, next headline, crossing Truth Social. President Trump announcing a new trade deal with India, one of the world's largest economies. India agreeing to buy American more than $500 billion in U.S. energy, technology, and agriculture. Tariffs cut American exports up. Trump says the two leaders who get things done. So there you go with that. One more. Turning Point USA announcing its rival Super Bowl halftime show. The lineup, an all-American halftime show, Faith, Family, Freedom, featuring Kid Rock, Lee Brice, and more. It's streaming February 8th right here on Real America's Voice and elsewhere, with a very different message if you look at the other halftime performance that is scheduled for Bad Bunny. Take a listen.
Before I say thanks to God, I'm going to say eyes out.
There you go. Bad Bunny over at the Grammys. So just keep it right here on Real America's Voice on halftime. All right, now to a story sparking national outrage. Take a look at this grade school children pulled into anti-ICE protests, professional signs, scripted chants. This is not organic. This is children being weaponized for politics, driven by adult agendas. Some parents have had enough. Take a listen.
This is my daughter's middle school. Being allowed to protest ICE agents, disrupting traffic, having everyone honk. I'm pulling my child from school today. This is f***ing unbelievable.
All right, joining me now to talk about this is Kelly John Walker, co-founder of Parents Demanding Justice Alliance, and KB Singh, a former college student that's familiar with protest planning on college campuses. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. KB, I'll start with you. We were talking right before we came on. This doesn't surprise you because not only are we seeing this in elementary schools, but we're seeing this in high schools.
Yeah. So my brother, who goes to my old high school, told me a day before it happened. He was like, "Hey, there's an ICE protest after school and during school, and there's a bunch of kids just going having these really offensive signs. Like if we say schools are safe places for everybody, like kind of outing people, and I'm not going to discriminate, but just being like a really extreme far left, like." People have the right to protest, and I'm not against like peaceful protest for anything because that's a right that Americans have. But going out on school campuses, and even like they're 14, 15, 16-year-old kids, like they don't have enough information, they don't have enough knowledge or the correct information given to them to have all these signs and kind of give their opinion to everybody. They're just like their parents under influencing them, the teachers influencing us. There's teachers out there at the protest. Like if we're telling teachers that we can speak about politics, a school's not a school anymore. It's an indoctrination for little kids.
Yeah. John, I'll ask you this. Why in the world are these teachers allowed to take some of these young, it seems like second, third, fourth grader students, all scripted chants, all produced signs, out of the classroom, put them in a situation that could become volatile and chaotic? How are they allowed to do this? You might be losing your audio on that, John. Let's see if we can fix that. KB, I'll go back to you real quickly. How are these teachers allowed to do this? If I was a parent and I found out that my son or daughter that's in the third grade, nothing, between 12 and 1, was able to walk out on a public street and hold a sign, I'd be so outraged right now.
No, 100%. It's not right. Like dragging little kids into political games isn't anywhere near moral or ethical at all. And all these teachers are given full leeway. If they support their agenda, hey, you can do whatever you want to. But a second a teacher steps out and says, hey, this isn't right, or let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, or let's, hey, America first, they get shut down real quick. Because it's a industry, the school game, that it's not actually a school anymore. They're just indoctrinating kids because you're there from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. and you're spending more time with teachers than you are with your parents. They're allowed to do whatever they want to. They're allowed to tell you whatever they want to. They're pushing their agenda on us. And it's not even in elementary school. Like, it is there. It's in high school. I felt it. There was a bunch of scenarios where I would get not outed out, but whenever we have projects or anything, they would be like, hey, this is wrong. You can't do this. You have to do it again. And even, especially in college, professors are just going absolutely crazy about, hey, this is what we want. This is the right thing. This is the wrong thing. And completely telling, even college students are not fully mature yet. They're listening to their professors like they know what they're doing. And it's just an indoctrination game that they're playing from every single level, from the little kids to even grown adults, and it's working.
Yeah. John, let me ask you real quickly. We're running out of time, and we apologize. We'll have to have you on a little bit more. But as a parent and someone that has fought school systems on many different issues, what should a parent do right now if they find out their son or daughter is being let out of the classroom and put on the front streets to protest ICE?
Sure. Well, Sam Sorbo and I formed the Parents Demanding Justice Alliance to address this. Kids are being indoctrinated. They're being used as political tools. So first of all, go to realfreedomtalk.com and visit the Parents Demanding Justice Alliance and send us your story, because we will share this. We're working with all the major parenting groups. This has got to stop. They're weaponizing our children, and they're crushing dissent from anyone who dares speak up. This is very wrong. So go to realfreedomtalk.com and send us a message.
There you go. John, KB, thanks so much for getting up with us this morning and talking about this. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, coming up, Benny Johnson takes on California's homeless industrial complex. Yes, that exists. The evidence coming up next. Take a listen.
This is a choice by the leadership of California to allow this to happen in your neighborhoods. The politicians are handcuffing the police officers, not allowing them to enforce the law. They're choosing this because people have businesses here. Look, people live here. Why would they allow this? Why are those officers helpless? Because of Gavin Newsom and the Democrats in California.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with your Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Did you ever wonder what truly happened in the COVID-19 pandemic and whether Anthony Fauci would ever be held accountable? I think we all have. Filmmaker Jenner First has an upcoming documentary that searches for truth, transparency, and accountability called Thank You, Dr. Fauci.
Governments lie.
Anthony Fauci put everyone on the planet at risk without their consent.
It's beyond suspicious.
Research caused a pandemic, killed 20 million, and cost $25 trillion. Fauci would prefer a lie.
Public trust, national health, and global security are at stake as this documentary digs through thousands of pages of documents and interviews with former officials and whistleblowers in the most controversial narrative of our time that may also be one of the largest cover-ups in modern public health history.
It was a cover-up.
Why would we trade the Chinese the most advanced biotechnology in the world?
He's a spy. It's insane.
I don't think this is going to be foolproof. Things are going to slip through.
Fauci knew and lied repeatedly.
Rather than being a partisan hit piece, Thank You, Dr. Fauci is an honest look at the origins of COVID-19 and a potential bioarms race with China. It streams exclusively on Angel Studios app and site starting on October 23rd. And all you need to do is go to angel.com/Rav to stream it. So be ready to watch, question, and share as the quest for truth and accountability continues.
Patriots, it's time to gear up. Real America's Voice has an entire lineup of merch made just for you.
We got some.
All right, welcome back. American Sunrise Early Edition. I am Brian Glenn. Good shot of the White House there. All right, before we take a deep dive in, a quick word from one of our sponsors, Artillery Tea Company. That's the only America First veteran-owned tea brand. And their mission is simple: maximize flavor with whole leaf tea blends and chemical-free tea bags. No junk, just real tea. And here's a tactical advantage. Each bag brews twice. Just go to artillerytco.com, use the code RAV for 10% off your first order. That's artillerytco.com. Premium tea, mission-driven, brewed for the brave. All right, let's turn now to our top story. An independent investigation uncovering another California scheme. $100 million in federal funds meant for the homeless diverted, get this, to illegal immigrants. Take a listen.
Welcome to California, the homeless capital of America. Nearly 200,000 homeless people reside in the Golden State.
It's way worse than Minnesota.
This was bought with taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
Obvious fraud. What the hell is going on?
Mayor Bass needs Skid Row for her to get federal money. But the reality is we could fix this if we want to.
I can't believe it. I can't believe that never occurred to me.
Welcome to California.
We just had a whistleblower from inside of the homeless industrial complex.
So you believe homeless shelters are being used by illegal aliens?
So they're rallying protesters to come and surround us.
This is what LA looks like everywhere. Not just this street, every underpass, every ditch, every overpass, every single intersection looks just like this. You have been lied to. Gavin Newsom, the governor of this state, says that homelessness is down, that he's fixed homelessness, and he's setting records to make the state better. This is a lie.
Independent journalists are now flooding California. Benny Johnson on the ground in Los Angeles. Nick Shirley reporting from San Diego, and others are on the way. In a post on X, Benny Johnson credited Riverside County Sheriff and gubernatorial candidate Sheriff Chad Bianco for helping break this story. Sheriff Bianco joins us now. First of all, Sheriff, that is in LA County. Okay, and I know you're in Riverside County, but is the problem occurring in your county as well as is in LA County?
Yeah, just definitely not to the extent that you see it in Los Angeles. We do everything we can. We all have a homeless issue. It's all across the state. Over the last 10 years, they've passed laws that have prevented us from cleaning up. We're trying to make some differences. That great Supreme Court ruling from last year helped us a lot to where we can go in and force them off of the streets and get them out of our parks. So Riverside County does not look anything like downtown Los Angeles, but we still have homeless issues.
It's incredible because when you look at the budget of the state of California, it's massive. I think, Sheriff, you might have the 5th largest economy in the world, where you have hundreds of millions of dollars, if not more, dedicated to solving the homeless crisis, but yet the state is failing. I mean, how do we correct this? Because it's not just about throwing money at a problem. It's about trying to fundamentally fix the reason why they're homeless. But what's your thoughts on that?
We have to realize, you got to start being honest. This was a purposely caused situation. Way back in 2014, they legalized drugs, and then they enabled all of this to happen. They changed laws to make all drug use legal. We couldn't arrest these people anymore. They changed those laws, and they allowed this to happen to allow themselves to funnel all of this taxpayer money. Now we know it is a homeless industrial complex. It is not homelessness. They started by calling it homeless to make us all feel bad, to think these people didn't have homes. This is about drug and alcohol abuse. It's about mental health issues that are caused. Which one caused the other? I say it's the drug and alcohol induced psychosis that causes these issues. But then you also have people down there that were let out of prison and just dumped onto the streets. It's an absolute failure of the entire system that was purposely caused to allow this money laundering scheme to happen.
Yeah. And if you kind of look at an area that has let's just say a lot of litter, there's a lot of trash, you can connect that straight to these homeless. Those are the ones I know here in D.C. That's exactly who leaves the majority of trash on the streets. And so it really costs your taxpayers, and it can cost your state. You've got to pick this stuff up. So it's a big problem, and not just, as far as the mental illness side of it, but keeping your beautiful state clean.
Yeah, so you have to look at just the city of Los Angeles alone. What you saw down there, where Benny and I were walking around talking to people, that's 50 square blocks of exactly what he was showing. It is nothing but tents. It is nothing but people living in their own feces. It is just waste all over. Tents, people's blankets, cardboard. It is worse, far worse than a third world country. This is 50 square blocks, and the city of Los Angeles gives $2 billion a year. In addition to state funding, just the city of Los Angeles, $2 billion a year. There are many, many, many people getting rich. The homeless are not being taken care of. They're not being treated for their alcohol and drug abuse issues or their mental health issues. This is allowed to happen so people can get rich and keep that money cycling back into the election process. It is sickening that human beings, that Karen Bass can walk down her downtown streets and say that this is okay. To say that Skid Row is just Skid Row and too bad, so sad.
Yeah. If people watching us around live in California, what is the website they can go to find out more about your campaign and some of your platform issues?
Absolutely. BiancoForGovernor.com, and just as good a way as social media, every single social media page, Sheriff Chad Bianco. But the website, BiancoForGovernor.com.
Sheriff, thank you so much for joining us. We'll keep an eye on your state. And for someone who, one of my kids was born in Orange County, and I lived out there for 15 years. I have a vested interest in your state as well. So I appreciate you coming on, and I'd like to help you.
We're going to save our state. We appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, before we go to break, Old Glory Bank is expected to go public in just a few months. That's right. Old Glory Bank expects to be listed on the NASDAQ, which this means everyday Americans who love this country will be able to own stock in a bank that actually stands for them. The freedom economy, the DeFi economy, traditional values. This is a win for all of us. Old Glory Bank offers everything you need, but more importantly, they are run by patriots who share your values, and that matters. Go to oldglorybank.com/RAV to learn more. That's oldglorybank.com/RAV to learn more. All right, plenty more ahead right here on Real America First, early edition, Sunrise. If you live in California, I suggest you go and check out that website and get involved. And of course, if you're a parent as well and you've got some kids in school, get involved with that. We got plenty more coming up after the break. Stick around.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with your Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Did you ever wonder what truly happened in the COVID-19 pandemic and whether Anthony Fauci would ever be held accountable? I think we all have. Filmmaker Jenner First has an upcoming documentary that searches for truth, transparency, and accountability called Thank You, Dr. Fauci.
Governments lie.
Anthony Fauci put everyone on the planet at risk without their consent.
It's beyond suspicious.
Research caused a pandemic, killed 20 million, and cost $25 trillion. Fauci would prefer a lie.
Public trust, national health, and global security are at stake as this documentary digs through thousands of pages of documents and interviews with former officials and whistleblowers in the most controversial narrative of our time that may also be one of the largest cover-ups in modern public health history.
It was the cover.
Why would he trade the Chinese the most advanced biotechnology in the world?
He's a spy.
It's insane.
I don't think this is going to be foolproof. Things are going to slip through.
Fauci knew and lied repeatedly.
Rather than being a partisan hit piece, Thank You, Dr. Fauci is an honest look at the origins of COVID-19 and a potential bioarms race with China. It streams exclusively on Angel Studios app and site starting on October 23rd. And all you need to do is go to angel.com/RAV to stream it. So be ready to watch, question, and share as the quest for truth and accountability continues.
Patriots, it's time to gear up. Real America's Voice has an entire lineup of merch made just for you.
We got some.
Welcome to American Sunrise Early Edition. The show where faith, freedom, and the values that built this nation take center stage.
All right, welcome back again to American Sunrise Early Edition. I am Brian Glenn. Let's head over to our Denver newsroom for the latest headlines with Terrance Bates. Terrance, good morning, buddy. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Brian. How are you? There's so much to talk about this morning, Brian. Let's start in Washington, where you are. Republican House leaders hoping to get the government back open today by passing 5 spending bills and a continuing resolution for funding of the Department of Homeland Security. While headed to negotiations in the Capitol on Monday, House Whip Steve Scalise reminding his colleagues that failure to pass this spending bill puts soldiers at risk of missing their next paycheck. In the meantime, Democrats are holding the funding hostage over more oversight over ICE. In fact, the changes include body cameras for ICE agents, as well as forcing agents to unmask during operations. On Monday, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem confirmed that ICE agents in Minneapolis will be issued body cameras.
They generally tend to be good for law enforcement because people can't lie about what's happening. So it's generally speaking, I think 80% good for law enforcement. But if he wants to do that, I'm okay with it.
Hey, Brian, want to get your reaction to this whole body camera issue. I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea, as President Trump said, but it almost feels like the administration is to some degree caving to the demands of Democrats, that Democrats are trying to strong arm this, and so they're caving. Love to get your perspective, though.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the body cam. I really am. We've seen numerous incidents that have been resolved through the confirmation of the body cam. So I'm not against the body cam at all. What I am against is the removal of the mask. I think we've seen how ICE agents have been vilified so much throughout this whole entire story that they need to have their identity concealed. Absolutely. You even have people that work in other branches of the government that have to conceal their identity. It's just they work in very sensitive topics. So I'm a fan of this. I don't look at it as caving, but I will look at it. Look, Steve Scalise is right. If you don't vote for this, you're not voting to fund the law enforcement. And I think every American is for that. So I think these Democrats need to get off their high horse, fund this government, and let's make whatever revisions we need to make, Terrance. If we need to, put body cams, let's install them.
Yeah, it's law enforcement. It's the military. It's FEMA funding during a time. It's FEMA funding during a time when you've got states that are dealing with deep freezes and massive snow, and they need a little bit of extra help. All of that is in jeopardy. As for ending the shutdown, by the way, Brian, 47 writing that we need to get the government open, and I hope all Republicans and Democrats will join me in supporting this bill and send it to my desk without delay. He goes on to say, we will work together in good faith to address the issues that have been raised, but we cannot have another long, pointless, and destructive shutdown. Hey, Brian, do you have any tinfoil there? Because I think you're going to need it for this next segment, particularly given what I just learned about you yesterday. So look, NASA is on schedule to launch its first mission to the moon since 1972. That could happen as soon as Sunday. We talked a bit about this yesterday. The agency conducted a critical test of the equipment on Monday, though, and a countdown is underway for what's called a wet dress rehearsal in preparation for the real-life launch. 4 astronauts who are going to take the trip are in quarantine and preparing for the big takeoff. By the way, though, there will be no moon landing, Brian, just a flyby. And on Monday, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth visited the Blue Origin factory in Cape Canaveral, Florida, once again emphasizing the importance of the United States winning the current fight for space supremacy.
In this era of warfare, we can't just command the skies and the seas or our hemisphere. We have to dominate the ultimate high ground. We've always known this. Any infantryman knows this. Anybody knows this. Whoever controls the high ground controls the fight. Space is the ultimate high ground. So we will chart the path. We will set the tone. We always have, and we will again.
Brian, I'm not going to mess with you much more on your thoughts about moon exploration in the past, but it is interesting that Pete Hegseth says that space is the ultimate high ground. That's really where the next war very well might be fought. Hopefully it won't come to a war, but we got to be real.
Yeah, I'm glad they're taking this approach. Terrance, it is the ultimate high ground. It's even with the Golden Dome. If you even take a look at the technology that's employed through that, this is a great step in terms of national defense, and it could be a great step for man on the moon one day. That would be great too.
No doubt. And what I find interesting, Brian, is that the government, the federal government, is working with these private industries, be it Blue Origin, be it Elon Musk and SpaceX, in order to advance our technology. And it seems to be a good public-private partnership in terms of getting this done.
It is, and we've seen that partnership across in other branches of our military. I think just about 2 weeks ago, there was an opening in North Carolina, a ribbon cutting ceremony for a division that does kind of a partnership with private corporations to better some of the parts on planes and some of the other weaponry. It's a great partnership. And I think that when you put smart people together, you come up with brilliant things. And I'm glad to see that our federal government is doing that.
You know, just to close this particular segment out, Brian, it seems that that's one of the unique approaches that the Trump administration is bringing to not just public policy, but its view on technology. I'm not so sure we would have seen many other administrations reach out to the private industry in order to kind of help the government advance things like space exploration, et cetera.
I'd rather them reach out to private companies here than other governments around the world to partner with them. Great take on that, Terrance. I agree with you.
Yeah. So look, that Artemis 2 mission, that's the mission to the moon. It's set to last about 10 days. And right now the launch window is between February 8th, which is this Sunday, and the 11th, with additional windows in March and April if this week doesn't ultimately work out. Brian, one last thing I want to talk to you about. Former President Bill Clinton and his wife and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton are doing a bit of an about-face as House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer is moving forward with contempt charges against the former first couple. In a sudden about-face on Monday, the Clintons agreed to testify as part of the House investigation into disgraced sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. You probably remember that the House Oversight Committee voted to hold the duo in contempt after they failed to show up for their previously scheduled depositions. Now the Clintons appear to be singing a new tune. At this point, there's no date set for a new opportunity for the Clintons to testify, but again, the full House could vote on holding the Clintons in contempt as soon as this week. Brian, what do you make of this? Are the Clintons just trying to buy time, or do you think they're really willing to talk? Plus, I kind of like the move from James Comer to say, yeah, okay, you say you're going to come, but either way, we're moving forward with the contempt charges. I like it.
You're spot on with that. They're still going to move forward until they show up. I think what they've also noticed that with the latest dump on these Epstein files, it does imply a lot of times that how many times Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton are mentioned in these files, and they're taking this approach. They're going to lean into this controversy and go, okay, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and sit in front of this oversight committee and I'll answer your questions. And so maybe that's a tactic that they think might work for them, and they'll answer. Of course, they may basically, deny any kind of allegations that they were just mentioned and there's no proof. But they're leaning into this if they do in fact sit in front of this committee. But there's still a pretty sizable percentage, Terrance, that they won't show up.
I did not visit that island. I did not board that plane. What do you think? Will that come out?
He'll wag that finger too, by the way. He'll do that to you right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you expecting that there'll be, if in fact they do ultimately show up, do you think they'll be honest? Do you think that there will be anything enlightening that comes out of the testimony, Brian?
I don't know. I've tried to get off X, but I got to go on X to look at some of these things, and all this data is being dumped and released, and thousands of pages. I try to read through it with a very skeptic eye, Terrance. I got to be honest with you. I try to scrutinize everything I read and go, okay, is this fake? Why would somebody go through the time to make this up right now? Is this a false email? Is this picture doctored? Is this picture real? Because there's so much AI on the internet right now. So I kind of do, in fact, think it would be a smart move to sit in front of that committee. And if that's not you, or you didn't say these things, or these dates don't align with someone saying that you were on the island, but you have proof you were in a different location, then this is the time to do it. So we'll see if it works out for them. I don't think Hillary shows up, though. Here's the thing. I think Bill Clinton shows up. I don't think Hillary does. That's just my gut on this.
I get it. And let's just be honest. I think for the most part, James Comer and most other people of interest, they want to know what Bill knows. They want to know the perspective from Bill, not necessarily Hillary. She's kind of an ancillary piece to this. And if they can get her, through him or however. But I think most people just want to know what Bill did, what he knows, etc. So, no, I agree with you, Brian.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Always good to talk to you,
Terrance, we talked about fatigue.
Go ahead.
And we had kind of chaos fatigue. We have violence fatigue. I'm starting to get a little Epstein fatigue, to be honest with you. I really am. Terrance, I appreciate you joining us this morning.
I brought that up
we'll
yesterday. Didn't I say that yesterday? I said
you
with
did.
the huge dump, I was like, and I almost feel bad about it, Brian. I get you. But it's so much information. It's almost overwhelming that I'm with you. I'm a little fatigued. I want justice for the victims, but it's getting a little bit much. Pray for me.
Yeah. Well, pray for all of us. We'll pray for everybody.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, Terrance, we'll see you on the big show here in just a little bit. All right, we're on the final stretch of American Sunrise. Early edition continues after the break. The great David Brody up next.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with your Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Did you ever wonder what truly happened in the COVID-19 pandemic and whether Anthony Fauci would ever be held accountable? I think we all have. Filmmaker Jenner First has an upcoming documentary that searches for truth, transparency, and accountability called Thank You, Dr. Fauci.
Governments lie.
Anthony Fauci put everyone on the planet at risk without their consent.
It's beyond suspicious.
Research caused a pandemic, killed 20 million, and cost $25 trillion. Fauci would prefer a lie.
Public trust, national health, and global security are at stake as this documentary digs through thousands of pages of documents and interviews with former officials and whistleblowers in the most controversial narrative of our time that may also be one of the largest cover-ups in modern public health history.
There was a cover-up.
Why would we trade the Chinese the most advanced biotechnology in the world?
He's a spy.
It's insane.
I don't think this is going to be foolproof. Things are going to slip through.
Fauci knew and lied repeatedly.
Rather than being a partisan hit piece, Thank You, Dr. Fauci is an honest look at the origins of COVID-19 and a potential bioarms race with China. It streams exclusively on Angel Studios app and site starting on October 23rd. And all you need to do is go to angel.com/Rav to stream it. So be ready to watch, question, and share as the quest for truth and accountability continues.
Patriots, it's time to gear up. Real America's Voice has an entire lineup of merch made just for you.
We got some.
Welcome back, American Sunrise Early Edition. I am Brian Glenn. Thanks so much for joining us. That is a live look at the White House right now. And joining me now is a live look at David Brody, who is somewhere near there. But what's coming up on the big show today? What's the topics we're talking about?
Question. I have no clue. I just read off prompter, as you know, Brian. I have pretty much limited follicles and brain cells.
I doubt that.
Well, okay, I'm being a little bit facetious. We have Mark Alford coming up, Congressman Mark Alford. We'll talk about the government shutdown. And by the way, you know, it looks like it's going to pass, but then again, who the heck knows exactly? I mean, they got that rule vote passed 8-4. I know Anna Paulina Luna, and Tim Burchett were trying to kind of gum up the works a little bit on the SAVE Act, which, by the way, I'm glad they were trying that. But, you know, Trump made some phone calls and said, look, we can't have this right now. So I don't know. I mean, what does Johnson have, like this one-seat majority, basically? I mean, he's barely holding on. So you never know. There's always drama on Capitol Hill, and all for a partial government shutdown that we're just going to go through the motions again in 10 days, which is absolutely ridiculous, Brian.
Yeah, it's like rinse and repeat. We talked about this earlier in this show with these kids. These third, fourth graders being marched out of the classroom to go stand on the street corner and protest this anti-ICE. What's your take on this? And David, if you and I have kids, if we found out our kids were in a classroom and the teacher gave them a little drum and a sign to hold and go out there and scream at ICE agents, you and I would come unglued.
100%. Maybe they can learn their multiplication tables or something along those lines. No, seriously, it's absolutely ridiculous. So it's all for the First Amendment. Protest your hearts out, but maybe do some schooling at the same time. You can do two things all at once. If you want to take your kid to a wacky protest, which, by the way, these liberal protests, they're in a way they're kind of like gender mutilation in a way. It's just from an ideological standpoint, not a physical one, but that's what they're doing to their kids, which is sad. But look, I'm all for it, but just not during school time. I mean, it doesn't really get more obvious than that. And if you want to do it during school time, do it after school, but by a teacher, by an administrator, come on. I mean, that's so ridiculous on its face.
Yeah. But this is part of brainwashing. We saw how it was done on college campuses. Now we're seeing what it's done in high schools. I even had a video that was submitted to me last night by a friend that in Hayes Consolidated School District, which is south of Austin, protest erupted. High school students out on the street. One video that I had was, you can go to my X account and check it out right now. They were beating up a grown man, in which I was told was a teacher. He's not a teacher now. I've corrected that, but it's chaos. These students, David, feel empowered to do whatever they want.
Yeah, and what they're doing, they, as in the older generation, they're trying to indoctrinate the young, and that's how they try to change societies. They get the young first, and so they can keep this going multi-generational. And by the way, words matter too. You notice how the liberals always love to play with words like gender-affirming surgery. If you control the language, you control the culture, and that's one of the most dangerous aspects to all this, Brian.
Yep. All right, and they control the brakes. We'll be back here tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern for another hour of news, headlines, and hot takes. Until next time, goodbye. God bless. Be great to one another. We'll see you here in a few.
American Sunrise is a great way to start your morning. Join us Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We've got the news of the day and some compelling interviews that you don't want to miss. Here's what you missed from yesterday. President Trump is, we obviously know, we reported a long time ago that he wants it to be the Trump Kennedy Center, but now he's really putting his stamp on it. Over the weekend, well, actually just overnight, he posted on Truth Social that he wants it to close for 2 years. Here's the quote: "I've determined that the Trump Kennedy Center, if temporarily closed for construction, revitalization, and complete rebuilding, can be, without question, the finest performing arts facility of its kind anywhere in the world."
I think it's really fantastic. I was there for my very first time, not that long ago. And, it wasn't a place that conservatives would frequent before Donald Trump made the reforms he's made. And it's nice to be there and see familiar faces and real art rather than all of the malarkey.
What I can tell you is that the ticket sales for the Kennedy Center have been down substantially since Trump took over, and that's no surprise. All the liberals are saying, yeah, we're out, or as they like to say, ice out, and all that stupid stuff that they say. But the actual donations and the contributions and the fundraising, if you will, majorly up. I think there's more to the story than just closing it for renovation for 2 years. That's a pretty drastic move. And so I guess we'll just wait and find out what else is going on.
House Speaker Mike Johnson says he is confident a partial U.S. government shutdown could end by tomorrow as lawmakers struggle to pass funding legislation. The shutdown started Saturday after Congress failed to approve spending, but Johnson believes Republicans can pass a deal even without Democrat support for Department of Homeland Security funding.
I think this goes way past Tuesday, and I just do, because I think Democrats aren't going to help at all. And matter of fact, Hakeem Jeffries has said that they don't anticipate any Democrat help on this. Now, Johnson, the margin that we have right now in the House is even slimmer. If I'm not mistaken, it's down to 1 to vote on this. But it's all about funding, getting the funding out for ICE.
Here's the NBC News headline, which says latest Epstein files. Trump DOJ releases millions more pages of records. When they say millions, it is plural. We're talking more than 3 million pages that were released. That includes 2,000 videos, 180,000 images.
This is something that dominated on X over the weekend. Will there be justice for the young women that were sexually exploited, raped, trafficked through Epstein and his whole client list? This is a big mess. Once again, this does not imply that President Trump had anything to do in regards to any of these sexual accusations from these victims.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with your Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Did you ever wonder what truly happened in the COVID-19 pandemic and whether Anthony Fauci would ever be held accountable? I think we all have. Filmmaker Jenner First has an upcoming documentary that searches for truth, transparency, and accountability called Thank You, Dr. Fauci.
Governments lie.
Anthony Fauci put everyone on the planet at risk without their consent.
It's beyond suspicious.
Research caused a pandemic, killed 20 million, and cost $25 trillion. Fauci would prefer a lie.
Public trust, national health, and global security are at stake as this documentary digs through thousands of pages of documents and interviews with former officials and whistleblowers in the most controversial narrative of our time that may also be one of the largest cover-ups in modern public health history.
It was the cover. Why would he trade the Chinese the most advanced biotechnology in the world?
He's a spy.
It's insane.
I don't think this is going to be foolproof. Things are going to slip through.
Fauci knew and lied repeatedly.
Rather than being a partisan hit piece, Thank You, Dr. Fauci is an honest look at the origins of COVID-19 and a potential bioarms race with China. It streams exclusively on Angel Studios app and site starting on October 23rd. And all you need to do is go to angel.com/Rav to stream it. So be ready to watch, question, and share as the quest for truth and accountability continues.
Patriots, it's time to gear up. Real America's Voice has an entire lineup of merch made just for you.
We got some.
Ahead on American Sunrise, Capitol Hill drama yet again. The bill to end the partial government shutdown clears a key Senate hurdle, a House hurdle, as President Trump flexes his muscle. But does that mean the government is going to reopen today? We do have the latest. Plus, Bill and Hillary reverse course. A new twist in the Jeffrey Epstein files investigation as Bill and Hillary Clinton agree, supposedly, to testify before the House Oversight Committee. Are we going to learn anything new? Missouri Congressman Mark Alford joins us with a view from the Hill. And later, here we go again. Another round of negotiations to end the war between Russia and Ukraine set to resume tomorrow. Where have I heard that before? Could we finally see a deal? Those stories and more as American Sunrise starts on a Tuesday. It is Tuesday, right? Right now. Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Whether it's culture,
we have breaking news to share with you.
Politics.
President Trump is joining us live now from Florida.
We've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrance.
And I'm Dr. Gina. Welcome to American Sunrise. Good morning, everybody. I am Dr. Gina. We are live with you from the Palm Beaches. Let's bring in David Brody. He's in Washington, D.C., and Terrance Bates in our Denver newsroom. Good morning, gentlemen. I hope you got more sleep than me. I read the Epstein files all night, and there's a lot of pages.
Oh, did you really?
All night. Like a psycho. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Not
Or
quite
later.
a bedtime story. Not a bedtime story.
Yeah.
Awful.
Okay.
Literally awful.
Interesting.
Like all your worst fears. Anyway, we've got a lot to talk about that isn't quite that yet, but we've got it's touching on it. The Clintons, right, T?
No, absolutely. They've now allegedly agreed to testify as part of the House's Epstein investigation. All of this comes as there was a contempt vote that was set for tomorrow. In fact, James Comer, the House Oversight Committee chairman, saying that he plans to move forward with the vote until they get in front of some cameras or somewhere for a testimony. All of this, of course, related to the fact that the Clintons initially skipped that testimony. Well, Dr. Gina, I want to get your perspective since you spent all night reading the Epstein files. What are you thinking about this latest twist in the saga?
Well, I think it's a good thing. I think Barack Obama might be next.
Really?
It is. I mean, it is so much worse than I had any idea. I really thought this whole next dump would be a whole lot of nothing. It is so much worse than I had any idea. A lot of things that we have laughed and scoffed at people for believing look like there's a lot of stuff in the Epstein files that could mean maybe they weren't crazy. Maybe we should have been listening a long time. But certainly the Clinton mentions are beyond the pale, and it's a really good thing that they're being questioned.
Yeah, and here's the deal. I mean, Bill Clinton basically told the House Oversight Committee, hey, you know what, I'll do a 4-hour transcribed interview. How's that sound? And they said, please, take a hike. You kidding me? And then Hillary Clinton said, I'll tell you what, I'll do a couple of written questions, like it's a PSAT test in high school or something. I mean, you know, like this is the essay portion. And they said, absolutely not. And so they were going to go through with contempt charges, or at least, recommend contempt charges. And so here we are, because basically the bluff was called. And now they're saying, oh, okay, actually, we will do it. Oh, really? So you're just going to be like everybody else that would actually have to testify in front of Congress? Come on. I mean, finally, we're getting somewhere. We'll see. We'll see too.
But the victims are so real. When you read the stories and see the videos, these videos are really disturbing. Anyway, lots more news to get to, too. We'll be covering this, I'm sure, for weeks and months to come.
Absolutely. Right before we get to our Bible verse, prayers going up for Savannah Guthrie. She, of course, is the Today host. Her mother, it appears, has been kidnapped. A lot of people, including the sheriff there in Arizona, in Pima County, Arizona, just out of Tucson, saying that the mom's house is now a crime scene and that it looks like she was taken against her will. So prayers going up for her, for the Guthrie family. Okay, go ahead, David. You were going to say yes.
Oh, no, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Keep going, T-Bates. Sorry.
I was just saying prayers going up for the Guthrie family. Go ahead. What were you going to say, David?
It's just weird. I mean, she's 84 years old. She lives alone. Right. She doesn't have dementia or anything like that. It's not that. So you just wonder.
She does. I'm sorry to interrupt, but she does have health issues that tell them that she couldn't have even gotten more than maybe 60 yards outside of her home on her own. Yeah. Go ahead, David.
Well, I was just going to say, I guess we're talking about it because, right, Savannah Guthrie is a media personality, if you will. But forget all of that for a second. How about your 84-year-old grandmother? Just if you had your 84-year-old grandmother just taken literally out of her bed somehow, some way, and she's gone. Let's just kind of boil it down to that. That's the story to me.
Yeah, and by all standards, she was an incredible mother, a great grandmother, is, and just has these health problems. They need to get her home as soon as possible. So there's a full-scale investigation right now. All right, let's pray for her, and let's get to today's Bible verse. It's from 2 Corinthians 4:18. While we do not look at the things which are seen, but the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporary. The things which are not seen are eternal. One of the hardest ones to really remember when you are in the throes of life, right? The House Rules Committee has advanced a key funding bill and an 8-4 party line vote, setting up a floor vote to end a partial government shutdown. This package included 5 appropriations bills and a 2-week continuing resolution for Homeland Security. And it now heads to the full House as lawmakers push to reopen operations before federal funds run out. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he expects action as soon as today. We want to bring in, from the great state of Missouri, Congressman Mark Alford. Congressman, more shenanigans, I guess, to be expected.
Well, look, we're going to get this done today. I've had no doubt that this is going to get done. We did our job, of course, a week and a half ago, passing the 12th of the 12 appropriation bills and sent it over to the Senate. We had to deal with the Senate. And they broke their word, basically. They wanted some changes to cut the DHS funding, which also, ladies and gentlemen, includes cuts to FEMA, cuts to the Coast Guard, cuts to the TSA, where they're not able to at least be paid. They're not necessarily cuts, but by doing not having a continuing resolution like we're going to vote on today, that would be essentially put that in a continued shutdown mode. And we can't have that. Look, under the One Big Beautiful Bill, we funded the Department of Homeland Security, so ICE is going to is still going to be active. They're still going to be deporting illegal aliens one way or the other. The Democrats are just so unnerved, though, about illegal aliens being deported from our great nation. They've got to do anything they can to stop it, so they threw a wrench into this thing. We are going to vote on the rule at about 11:15 here Eastern time. And then the actual bill will be voted on about 1 o'clock Eastern time, reopen the government. That will give the president and the leadership here roughly 10 days to negotiate the funding for the Department of Homeland Security so that we can move on with things. And then we start the process all over, because we start the appropriations process for 2027, and we have to get that done by the end of September. So this is a never-ending process, as it should be, to fund our government. We got to get our work done, and Democrats need to get out of the way.
All right. Well, Congressman, the negotiation part of this in the next 10 days is going to be extremely interesting. There seems like there's going to be some changes to the tactics of ICE. I mean, you're not going to the White House has basically cut this deal with Schumer. I mean, they seem to be open to some sort of change in tactics, maybe unmasking some of these ICE agents. I don't know what this is going to.
That's not going to happen, David.
Not going to happen. I was going to say, is that the non-negotiable? It's got to be a red line right there.
I don't think so. Mike Johnson has said that's not going to happen. I don't believe it should happen. My sheriffs back at home don't think that should happen. And they're trying to pass these ordinances on the city level and county level in some of my more liberal parts of my district. It's not going to happen, and here's why. The reason the federal agents are having to wear masks to begin with is because these lunatics are out there trying to dox them and tell the world who they are, where they live, and out them, basically, and putting their safety and their family safety in danger, putting their lives in danger. And so that's non-negotiable. Let's talk about body cameras. We put $20 million in the One Big Beautiful Bill for body cameras. That money is in there. That is funded under the current funding for Department of Homeland Security. Kristi Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security, ordered that all these cameras need to get up there and get on folks who are out deporting illegal aliens, which is good. I think what's going to come of these cameras is it's going to show just how aggressive and the interfering tactics that these agitators are using in their so-called peaceful protest of ICE deportations.
Yep. Agreed.
Congressman, 30 seconds here. Obviously, we know that Bill and Hillary Clinton are agreeing to testify before Congress. However, I'd like to get from you whether the contempt vote is still on for tomorrow against the Clintons, since they didn't show up last time.
Well, Terrance, that depends on what the definition of testify is, I guess. We'll see. I think James Comer's intent on still bringing this bill to the House floor. We'll see what the leadership does. They had it before the Rules Committee, and Virginia Foxx, the chair, removed it yesterday to see where this plays out. But we've got to keep the pressure on these two individuals. These are slippery eels in the American ecos who are not telling the truth, and we've got to get to the truth. And the only way, I think, to get to the truth is haul them before Congress, make them go into a deposition setting, which is behind closed doors for this first step, and then, if necessary, whatever James Comer and the committee finds out, bring them before an open committee for open hearings so the American people can hear the words of Bill and Hillary Clinton, which we know how that might go.
Well, I cannot figure out what she was wearing in that first shot, but Congressman Mark Alford, I know you would never wear anything like that. And thank you for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Congressman.
Right. Coming up, we're going to check out the hottest headlines from the RAV Newsroom with T. Bates. And later, eliminating the Iranian threat, the U.S. is slated for discussions with the Islamic regime on its nuclear program. Will anything come of it? We have expert analysis ahead. That's as American Sunrise continues.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with your Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Did you ever wonder what truly happened in the COVID-19 pandemic and whether Anthony Fauci would ever be held accountable? I think we all have. Filmmaker Jenner First has an upcoming documentary that searches for truth, transparency, and accountability called Thank You, Dr. Fauci.
Governments lie.
Anthony Fauci put everyone on the planet at risk without their consent.
It's beyond suspicious.
Research caused a pandemic, killed 20 million, and cost $25 trillion. Fauci would prefer a lie.
Public trust, national health, and global security are at stake as this documentary digs through thousands of pages of documents and interviews with former officials and whistleblowers in the most controversial narrative of our time that may also be one of the largest cover-ups in modern public health history.
It was a cover-up. Why would he trade the Chinese the most advanced biotechnology in the world?
He's a spy.
It's insane.
I don't think this is going to be foolproof. Things are going to slip through.
Fauci knew and lied repeatedly.
Rather than being a partisan hit piece, Thank You, Dr. Fauci is an honest look at the origins of COVID-19 and a potential bioarms race with China. It streams exclusively on Angel Studios app and site starting on October 23rd. And all you need to do is go to angel.com/Rav to stream it. So be ready to watch, question, and share as the quest for truth and accountability continues.
Patriots, it's time to gear up. Real America's Voice has an entire lineup of merch made just for you.
We got some.
This news break is brought to you by AMAC, Association of Mature American Citizens.
All right, look, the Super Bowl is coming up Sunday. Forget Bad Bunny and Bugs Bunny and all that ridiculous stuff. Go to the All-American Halftime Show. 5 days, 12 hours, 0 minutes and 1 second. Okay, the point is that Turning Point's putting on a big shindig with Real America's Voice. The whole thing, you got to check it out. So don't go to Bad Bunny and the Halftime Show. Go there. Right here, you can check it out, Real America's Voice. Welcome back, everybody. I'm David Brody. Welcome to American Sunrise. It is a Tuesday. I think it is. I'll let you know a little later in the show. We have T. Bates, who is right now going to do headlines, and he's going to perform this with, I don't know, just the gusto that you would expect. It's sponsored by AMAC.
The Association of Mature American Citizens is the conservative voice for Americans 50 and older. AMAC is fighting for the values that you hold dear. Join today. Together, we can write the course of America.
Republican House leaders are hoping to get the government back open today by passing 5 spending bills and a continuing resolution for funding of the Department of Homeland Security. While headed to negotiations in the Capitol on Monday, House Whip Steve Scalise reminding his colleagues that failure to pass this spending bill puts soldiers at risk of missing their next paychecks. Meantime, Democrats are holding the funding hostage over more oversight over ICE. In fact, the changes include body cameras for ICE agents, as well as forcing agents to unmask during operations. On Monday, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem confirmed that ICE agents in Minneapolis will be issued body cameras.
They generally tend to be good for law enforcement because people can't lie about what's happening. So it's generally speaking, I think 80% good for law enforcement. But if he wants to do that, I'm okay with it.
As for ending the shutdown, 47 writing, we need to get the government open, and I hope all Republicans and Democrats will join me in supporting this bill and send it to my desk without delay. He goes on to write, we will work together in good faith to address the issues that have been raised, but we cannot have another long, pointless, and destructive shutdown. NASA is on schedule to launch its first mission to the moon since 1972. It could happen as soon as Sunday. The agency conducted a critical test of the equipment on Monday and a countdown underway for what's called a wet dress rehearsal in preparation for the real-life launch. 4 astronauts who will take the trip are in quarantine right now and preparing for the big takeoff. By the way, there's going to be no moon landing here. It's just a flyby. And on Monday, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth visited the Blue Origin factory in Cape Canaveral, Florida, and once again emphasized the importance of the United States winning the current fight for space supremacy.
In this era of warfare, we can't just command the skies and the seas or our hemisphere. We have to dominate the ultimate high ground. We've always known this. Any infantryman knows this. Anybody knows this. Whoever controls the high ground controls the fight. Space is the ultimate high ground. So we will chart the path. We will set the tone. We always have, and we will again.
As for the Artemis 2 mission to the moon, it's set to last about 10 days. Right now, the launch window is between February 8th and the 11th, with additional windows in March and in April if this week doesn't work out. Former President Bill Clinton and his wife Hillary, the former Secretary of State, doing an about-face as House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer appears to be trying to move forward with contempt charges against the former first couple. In a sudden about-face on Monday, the Clintons agreed to testify as part of the House investigation into disgraced sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. You probably remember the House Oversight Committee voted to hold the duo in contempt after they failed to show up for their previously scheduled depositions. Now the Clintons appear to be singing a new tune, though. At this point, there's no date set for a new opportunity for the Clintons to testify. Meantime, again, the full House was scheduled to vote on holding the Clintons in contempt tomorrow. We'll, of course, continue to monitor that to see if that vote, in fact, does move forward or not. Another story we've been talking about this morning, the search is on for an 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. Investigators in Arizona believe that she was kidnapped. Guthrie's daughter, Savannah Guthrie, from the Today Show, is out with a statement asking for prayers and to, quote, bring her home. The elder Guthrie's home is considered a crime scene at the moment, as the Pima County Sheriff's Office in Arizona says something seemed out of place when they visited that house. FBI agents are now also involved in the search. Investigators say it appears that Guthrie was abducted from her home while she was sleeping early Sunday morning. That's a quick check of your headlines. Now let's get a quick check of your forecast. By the way, remember, go to our various social media platforms, be it Getter, Rumble, YouTube. Let us know where you're hanging out so you can get a hometown forecast from meteorologist Tracy Anthony. Tracy joining us right now with the very latest. What is this video we're looking at here, Tracy?
We're looking at another home that has collapsed into the Atlantic. This is, in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, Buxton, and over the last year, there have been close to 30 homes now that have fallen into the Atlantic just because where the shoreline is. And these coastal systems that push past but don't impact the shoreline directly have been the culprit over the last year for a lot of these homes. And even once the snow wrapped up from this last winter storm over the weekend, still some major impacts for the coast. So just kind of wanted to show you that we're still dealing with some of the impacts from the last two winter storms, not just coastal areas, but icy roads to start off the day, and even still some power outages across Tennessee and Mississippi. But we're still talking some cold weather advisories all the way down through South Florida. And then out in California, we're talking record high temperatures. So kind of the opposite going on from coast to coast. And Terrance, yesterday I just decided to embrace the cold. I made tomato soup and grilled cheese. It was awesome.
That is so funny, Tracy. That's a favorite cold weather meal in my house. Like, my daughters love tomato soup and grilled cheese. It's a comfort food. I love it. Next time, invite me over. I'll come down. All right, Tracy, good to see you.
You too.
She's like, yeah, right. I'm not inviting you. Keeping that all to myself. All right, folks, up next, a new mineral stockpile that President Trump announced this initiative to counteract China. So how is all of this ultimately going to play out? We'll have the very latest for you ahead. Right now, though, a quick look at this day in history. It was on this date in 1959 that a tragic plane crash near Clear Lake, Iowa, claimed the lives of music icons Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and J.P. Richardson. They were known as he, of course, was known as the Big Bopper. The pilot was also killed. The small aircraft went down just minutes after takeoff during a winter tour through the Midwest. The loss shocked the nation and marked a turning point in American pop culture, cutting short the careers of artists who helped shape early rock and roll. the tragedy became forever known as the day the music died. It was a symbol of lost innocence and unfulfilled promise. More than 6 decades later, the music and legacy of those artists still live on, reminding Americans how quickly history and culture can change in just a single moment. Ahead, Don McLean, the songwriter who captured the magnitude of that loss in American Pie, joins us. And we'll, of course, talk about a special event that's going on in honor of the rock legends that we lost that day and those who keep their memory alive. All of that and so much more ahead on American Sunrise.
'Cause I saw you dancing in the gym. You both kicked off your shoes. Man, I dig those rhythm and blues.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with your Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Did you ever wonder what truly happened in the COVID-19 pandemic and whether Anthony Fauci would ever be held accountable? I think we all have. Filmmaker Jenner First has an upcoming documentary that searches for truth, transparency, and accountability called Thank You, Dr. Fauci.
Governments lie.
Anthony Fauci put everyone on the planet at risk without their consent.
It's beyond suspicious.
Research caused a pandemic, killed 20 million, and cost $25 trillion. Fauci would prefer a lie.
Public trust, national health, and global security are at stake as this documentary digs through thousands of pages of documents and interviews with former officials and whistleblowers in the most controversial narrative of our time that may also be one of the largest cover-ups in modern public health history.
There was a cover-up. Why would he trade the Chinese the most advanced biotechnology in the world?
He's a spy.
It's insane.
I don't think this is going to be foolproof. Things are going to slip through.
Fauci knew and lied repeatedly.
Rather than being a partisan hit piece, Thank You, Dr. Fauci is an honest look at the origins of COVID-19 and a potential bioarms race with China. It streams exclusively on Angel Studios app and site starting on October 23rd. And all you need to do is go to angel.com/Rav to stream it. So be ready to watch, question, and share as the quest for truth and accountability continues.
Patriots, it's time to gear up. Real America's Voice has an entire lineup of merch made just for you.
We got some. You might have heard there's quite a load of.
Okay, this is hilarious. We're playing the Somali waltz with a shot of the White House. My brain is exploding. Welcome back, everybody, to American Sunrise. By the way, that is my ringtone. I love that song. A new round of trilateral peace talks between Ukraine, Russia, and the United States is set to take place this week in Abu Dhabi. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky announced the meetings for tomorrow and Thursday, and they're aimed at advancing a diplomatic end to Moscow's almost 4-year war. Boy, it feels like we could just copy and paste that through prompter all the time. Earlier talks in the United Arab Emirates were described as constructive, but key issues remain, including territorial disputes and security guarantees. All right, join us now with insight and perspective is Cliff May, the founder of Defense of Democracies. Cliff, welcome to you. Well, it feels like a template, you know, just another day, same problems. Where's the progress? Where's the beef, as they like to say? Cliff, good morning.
Good morning. I'm very skeptical that anything is going to come of this at this point. This is not a territorial dispute. The dispute is over whether the Ukraine has a right to exist, whether it has a right to independence, to sovereignty, to freedom, to a culture, to a language. It is very clear, it has been clear for years, that what Putin wants is to conquer Ukraine, to say from now on you will speak Russian, from now on you will consider yourselves Russian. Demographically, he needs more Russians. The country's demography is dreadful. I can explain that a little better, but it's small and it's diminishing. And he can't have a free, prosperous, democratic country on his border, in his view. And he feels his mission in life is to restore the Russian Empire. So he can say, yeah, well, tell me, maybe if you give me these parts of Donbass, maybe, you know. he doesn't want any of that. Now, he may fail at all that. I think he's postponing everything. He wants us at the very least, to have a big offensive in the spring and summer. Right now, it's very cold. What he's mostly trying to do is terrorize the people of Ukraine. He has been hitting energy sources, so they will be cold. He promised to stop doing that because President Trump asked him. I doubt that he is. It's a terrorist war. It's a war against the civilians, the women and children, but the Ukrainians are not giving up. This is a war of independence for them.
This is apparently the season for talking and negotiating. Reuters is out with this headline, which says Iran and the U.S. are to hold nuclear talks on Friday. Some regional countries are supposed to participate as well. Those talks, by the way, set to happen in Turkey. The efforts are going to focus on resolving disputes about Iran's nuclear program. But it seems to me that there are so many more issues that need to be addressed beyond the nuclear program, particularly given what's happened in the past several weeks or months there in Iran. Your thoughts? I'd love to get your take and what you think is ultimately going to come out of this, if anything.
Well, you're right in what you said, but let me just push back on this. This is not a dispute about the nuclear program. This is a country, this is a regime that since 1979 has been chanting on a regular basis, death to America, death to Israel. How do you achieve that? You achieve it with nuclear weapons. So the dispute is not about the nuclear program. I think President Trump understands these people who have never said, hey, we changed our mind. It's no more death to America. It's Viva America. It's all good. No, they still believe death in America. I think part of what he's saying is you can't have nuclear weapons. You can't. We're not going to let you. You can't have enrichment of uranium. There's no need for it. It's only for nuclear weapons. So that has to end. But other things have to end, too. Among them, they have now killed, slaughtered, massacred in their streets probably over 36,000 people, mostly young people who are unarmed and are simply protesting and incompetent and a corrupt and an oppressive regime. That can't just stand, I don't think. Now, there are other things that could happen, I can imagine. I'm not predicting. If the CIA is in touch with somebody in the Army who has the strength, and I'm not sure they do, and I can tell you why, to say, you know what we have to do is we have to put the Supreme Leader, Ali Khamenei, under house arrest so we can negotiate properly with the Americans. We don't need nuclear weapons. People need instead a little bit of meat once a week when they go to the store, and we're going to do that, and we'll get along with them. Kind of like what's going on in Venezuela, which we can talk about. But I'm not sure that can happen. For one thing, the Army is not what you would think. It's because there's the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, which is an elite kind of Praetorian Guard, which is above the Army. And so if some general said, here's what I'm going to do, I think the IRGC, would say off with his head. But there are possibilities here. So you've got an armada around the country. You've got a lot of options and a lot of targets for the president to look at. And what the Iranians would like to do, the regime would like to do, is say, let's get in negotiations. And once we bog down in negotiations, we can do whatever we want. The negotiations will never get anywhere, or we'll go back to what Biden and what Obama had, which is to say, can you delay your nuclear weapons program a little bit? At least don't be having nuclear weapons that you can use against us or Israel during my term.
Cliff May, just fascinating. We wish we had more time with you. A big regret.
Yeah.
Gosh, we just, that and the fact that pizza's too many calories, 2 regrets in my life. So thank you, Cliff.
Anytime, guy. Good to see you. My pleasure.
All right.
Thanks, Cliff.
Coming up, February marks Cancer Prevention Month. What are some of the best ways to lower your risk? Some tips ahead as American Sunrise continues.
radical left knows exactly what they're doing. They want to steal the election. We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, and we're going to the Capitol. They need to take back our country.
Events in Washington have taken a violent and tumultuous turn.
January 6th wasn't just a moment in history. For thousands of Americans, it was the moment their voices were taken.
It's insurrection.
They were persecuted, hunted, seditious conspiracy. But behind prison walls, something unexpected happened. They found their voice again.
Started singing the national anthem.
We took it up to him at Mar-a-Lago. He goes, I'll put my voice on it.
Our supporters made this go platinum.
Real America's Voice is telling the real story of January 6th like you've never seen it before.
Everybody, this must be peaceful.
This is not the story you were shown.
I take responsibility.
This is the story they live.
Government entrapment scheme that this actually was.
The J6 Patriots are no longer staying silent. They are speaking, they are standing, and they are telling the truth.
You can't kill us. You can't beat us.
Scan the QR code or visit RealAmericasVoice.com. Real America's Voice presents The Sleeping Giant. Available now.
All right, welcome back to American Sunrise. Don McLean coming up. I'm so excited about that. I'm Dr. Gina. We thank you for joining us. It is time now for today's health news, sponsored by the Wellness Company. And under the microscope today, February is Cancer Prevention Month. It's a time dedicated to raising awareness about steps people can take to reduce the risk of developing cancer. For more, let's bring in the Chief of Pediatric Medicine for the Wellness Company, Dr. Alejandro Diaz. Dr. Diaz, you know, we have been so lied to. It's just as if everything we believed just a couple of years ago was just sheer hockey puck. I don't know what else to say because I can't say it on TV. And yet now here we are with companies like the Wellness Company, doctors like yourself, Dr. Peter McCullough, others who have been at the forefront of what we can really do to prevent cancer. Tell us.
Yes, Dr. Gina, thank you so much for having me on the show. And definitely, this is February Awareness Month. And it's incredible the amount of new cases of cancer each year. I mean, we're talking about almost 2 million new Americans will develop cancer each year. This is the largest lucrative industry in healthcare. We're talking about close to $210 billion each year just for diagnosis and treatment of this terrible disease. So we have been compounding amazing natural products at the Wellness Company, like Shield for cellular defense, antioxidant, detox. It reduces inflammation, it boosts your immune system, and it will help you with all sorts of, recovering from cancer, preventing cancer, and things like that.
Yeah, I want to back up to what you said, though, because I'm not sure people understand the amount of money that is in the cancer industry. I say this on the show all the time, that which we incentivize, we create more of. We have incentivized an entire industry of cancer for humans, for animals, and that means we're going to get more of it. So you look at these big charities that everybody runs races for and all these things, and I thought it was a little weird because some of the money was like going to abortion and things like that. I thought, that's really weird. Without all that money, the Wellness Company has come up with ways to literally prevent cancer. And it's not just in the things that are obvious. It's things like your spike protein fixer antidote, right? There are a lot of things that the Wellness Company is doing that might prevent cancer, that have a better chance of preventing cancer than most all of the things we've been told for the past few decades?
Yeah, number one, we have this amazing new product that it was compounded and designed by our wonderful colleague, Dr. Kelly Victory, through the Wellness Company with natural products. You know, it will boost your immune system, will decrease the inflammation, the detox, and cellular defense. That's one side of the token. On the other side of the token, we have, as you know, ivermectin, mebendazole. But something that I think it's important for our audience to understand is that I was shocked 3 years ago when the CEO of Pfizer, Albert Bourla, he said that in the near future, and he spoke like in the next 5 years, 1 in every 3 people will develop cancer. My first question will be, how did he know that? That's number one. Number two, they acquired one of the largest acquisition in oncology history for $43 billion. They acquired this biotechnology company. Why they are preparing for that? What do they know that we don't know?
Yeah. Well, ivermectin, as you mentioned, particularly in concert with mebendazole, has shown great promise in early studies. Do you think that ivermectin deserves additional research as a potential treatment for cancer? And tie this in, if you will, to what we've just seen released in the Epstein files, where it sounds like a lot of this was stuff that, believe it or not, Epstein was involved in the development of, talking about plagues and cancers and all sorts of things like that.
That's insane. Talking about ivermectin, that Nobel Prize medication, I think it's a phenomenal medication. We already know as a fact from scientific facts that it works to not only to prevent but also to treat a lot of different cancers. But obviously, we will be delighted to have more research about ivermectin in other types of cancers. But right now, we already know for a fact that it works.
Almost all the focus in this country is on treating cancer when it comes to all of this, and very little focus is on determining prevention. Why do you think that is?
Well, unfortunately, Dr. Gina, is where the money is. We're talking about $210 billion industry per year. So I don't think there's enough interest for big pharma to prevent. They're more interesting, unfortunately, to cure.
Yeah. Well, the Wellness Company you mentioned has this new product out called Shield, which we read about in relation to Dr. Victory's own journey with cancer. You described how Shield works, and what sort of results are you seeing with it?
You know, it's a new product for the Wellness Company, but we're starting to see amazing results. You know, it will detox your body. It will create antioxidant, decrease inflammation, and basically just restore your cells. It's for cell defense with natural products like ashwagandha, turmeric, turkey, tail root, mushrooms, black cumin, seed oil, garlic extract, and so many other components that in combination, they really protect your cells.
All right, so I take all of these things by themselves, but I really want to try. Did I see hot cocoa mix or something like that? Will you send me some of that? I'll Venmo you, Dr. Diaz. I have to try that. I really want to try, because I do take it all, but I take it all separately, and it's a lot, you know. So, Dr. Diaz, and I'll tell you, side benefits too. Skin and hair have gotten so much better. I mean, just really great stuff coming out of the Wellness Company all the time. I just could not recommend them more highly. And thank you for being with us and telling us about this new great product.
Thank you so much.
All right. That Shield product, very exciting. February is National Cancer Prevention Awareness Month. Now more than ever, we want to be asking what each of us can do to lower our chances of cancer. And if you or a loved one is battling cancer, we want to make sure that no stone is left unturned in the effort for you all to be healthy. That's where the Wellness Company comes in. You know the Wellness Company. We have their great doctors, like we just did, like Dr. Kelly Victor, Dr. McCullough, and others on all the time. The Wellness Company and their doctors are medical professionals. You can trust them. The Wellness Company is committed to providing safe, low-cost alternatives to big pharma, from ivermectin to methylene blue to their fantastic new product we're discussing today, Shield, so much more. The Wellness Company gives you the opportunity to make sure that the promise of the MAHA movement is reality for you too. This February, take control of your health. Go to twc.health/RAV. Give it an order. That's twc.health/RAV. Use the promo code RAV. It'll save you 10%. You can prepare now and not wait. That's the magic. All right, coming up, ICE under attack. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson ready to take aim at agents who are doing their jobs. His outrageous scheme is up next as American Sunrise continues.
The radical left knows exactly what they're doing. They want to steal the election. We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, and we're going to the Capitol. They need to take back our country.
Events in Washington have taken a violent and tumultuous turn.
January 6th wasn't just a moment in history. For thousands of Americans, it was the moment their voices were taken.
It's insurrection.
They were persecuted, hunted,
seditious conspiracy.
but behind prison walls, something unexpected happened. They found their voice again.
Started singing the national anthem.
We took it up to him at Mar-a-Lago. He goes, I'll put my voice on it.
Our supporters made this go platinum.
Real America's Voice is telling the real story of January 6th like you've never seen it before.
Everybody, this must be peaceful.
This is not the story you were shown.
I take responsibility.
This is the story they live.
Government entrapment scheme that this actually was.
The J6 Patriots are no longer staying silent. They are speaking, they are standing, and they are telling the truth.
You can't kill us. You can't beat us.
Scan the QR code or visit RealAmericasVoice.com. Real America's Voice presents The Sleeping Giant. Available now.
Welcome back to American Sunrise. It's time to stay awake, not woke. And who is woke today? Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. Johnson signed an executive order paving the way for prosecuting ICE agents. The Chicago Democrat says it creates a framework for public accountability. Here's what he had to say. Take a look.
The ICE on notice executive order is a step towards justice. This executive order will make Chicago the first city in the country to set the groundwork to prosecute ICE and Border Patrol agents for criminal misconduct. Because we need to send a clear message. If the federal government will not hold these rogue actors accountable, then Chicago will do everything in our power to bring these agents to justice. As part of this order, our police department will document ICE and Border Patrol activity and attempt to identify officers on the scene. This evidence will then be preserved and, at the direction of my office, will be referred to the state's attorney's office for potential prosecution. The Trump administration has made it clear that they intend to return to our city in force in the coming spring. This order is a step towards making sure that Chicago is prepared. We will continue to learn from and work with other cities across the country as we all confront this moment.
Let's bring in Terrance, Dr. Gina, and David. Terrance, want to go to you first. Want to get your take on all of this. I'm not sure what this is going to do to keep Chicago safe.
Yeah, and it's not, let's just be honest. It's not about keeping Chicago safe. This is about trying to prove a point. This is trying to score political points with Chicagoans. And I'm all for holding any law enforcement agent, be it ICE, be it a local police officer, be it a sheriff's deputy, accountable for wrongdoing, if in fact there is wrongdoing. And so if it's proven that there is some wrongdoing, then yeah, anybody should be held accountable. But this is all politics. This is Brandon Johnson trying to score political points with the public. I'm not so sure there's going to really be any action behind this executive order that he's talking about, Dr. Gina.
Yeah, when they talk about accountability, all I can think about is where's the accountability? Where's the outrage for the accountability of the Americans, the children, the women who have been killed because of what these criminals have done? Where is the accountability for that? Why isn't any one of these people talking about that, David?
Yeah, what the mayor of Chicago is doing here is really sick and evil. And I want to explain why I chose the word evil. Because he had said previously that the president of the United States has declared war on the people of Chicago. So let's just unpack this for a second. So the president, Donald J. Trump, is trying to take illegal aliens off, illegal criminals, I should say, off the streets of Chicago to make Chicago safer. And he apparently is now at war with the people of Chicago to make their streets safer. Someone have it make sense to me. And that's why I say the word evil, because this is the opposite of good. This is actually totally twisted. And this is the type of society we live in today. It's totally 180. It is America 180, guys. That's what we're living in. And we've got to call it out. And we can't just call it out from the comfort of our home, of our couch. And just because we have a platform here on television, we can't just go home ourselves. I'm talking about all four of us. We can't just go home and say, okay, we did our duty on television today and we spoke out. So what? So we spoke out on camera. Who cares? Let's get active. Let's get mobile. We got to mobilize. We got to be in our communities. I'm not saying we're not. I'm just simply saying let's all of us get busy to do something about it, because we cannot have evil persist like this. Absolutely not.
The easy question, I know we have to go, but the easy question here, if President Trump is successful, who's safer? And if President Trump on this is unsuccessful, who dies? The answer, the citizens of Chicago.
Exactly.
Good point. All right.
Fair point.
Coming up, a journey of faith in moments, a 40-day plan to transform your perspectives. The details are next. But first, a quick programming note. Real America's Voice has launched a new must-see show this week at 11 p.m. Eastern called After Hours with Alex Stein. You don't want to miss it. Here's a preview.
When the lights go down, the truth comes out.
This is built like a chicken McNugget, but...
This is After Hours with Alex Stein. No filter.
You're a globalist. You don't care about America.
No apologies.
You're a pro-abortion when you should have been aborted.
The undisputed king of trolling.
I was recently sexually assaulted within the metaverse.
I want to vaccinate your mom.
They tried to cancel us.
Deplatforming works.
She wants to kill babies, but she's still beautiful. Look at that booty on AOC. That's my favorite big booty Latina.
Politics, culture, hypocrisy.
They want them to have their penises cut off.
Uncensored and uncontrolled.
Cut your penis off, actually.
That's what I'm saying. They admit they want to cut people's penises off.
Late night just got dangerous. After Hours with Alex Stein. Coming soon to Real America's Voice.
The radical left knows exactly what they're doing. They want to steal the election. We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, and we're going to the Capitol. They need to take back our country.
Events in Washington have taken a violent and tumultuous turn.
6 wasn't just a moment in history. For thousands of Americans, it was the moment their voices were taken.
It's insurrection.
They were persecuted, hunted,
seditious conspiracy.
But behind prison walls, something unexpected happened. They found their voice again.
Started singing the national anthem.
We took it up to him at Mar-a-Lago. He goes, I'll put my voice on it.
Our supporters made this go platinum.
Real America's Voice is telling the real story of January 6th like you've never seen it before.
Everybody, this must be peaceful.
This is not the story you were shown.
I take responsibility.
This is the story they live.
Government entrapment scheme that this actually was.
The J6 Patriots are no longer staying silent. They are speaking, they are standing, and they are telling the truth.
You can't kill us. You can't beat us.
Scan the QR code or visit RealAmericasVoice.com. Real America's Voice presents The Sleeping Giant. Available now.
God bless the USA.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
Welcome back to American Sunrise. It's now time for our moment of faith, which is brought to us daily by Lee Greenwood and the God Bless the USA Bible. In focus today, a new book that's gaining attention for its unique blend of faith and art. Heaven Meets Earth, a 40-day journey of transformation through the Nicene Creed. It's written by author and artist Josh Nadeau. The book, by the way, is a 40-day devotional that includes daily readings, prayers, and original full-color artwork. Each day explores a line from the ancient Nicene Creed, and it connects it to life today. Published by Thomas Nelson, Heaven Meets Earth is designed to help readers deepen their faith and spiritual growth. Joining me now to explain and talk more about it is the author, Josh Nadeau. Josh, good to see you, my friend. I want to start with the 40 days. Obviously, when most of us who have some sort of Christian background see 40 days, we think 40 days and 40 nights, Jesus in the wilderness. But there's even more to the 40 days here.
That's true. So the 40 days, 40 nights, very familiar biblical theme. 40 years in the wilderness for the Old Testament, Jesus in the wilderness for 40 days, 40 nights. And the modern church practices a 40-day Lenten season coming up in preparation for the crucifixion and resurrection. Beyond that, 40 days is long enough that it can start transforming your habits. And so having something that was about 40 days means that these practices and these devotionals and these ideas and these things that you get to do with your body can start transforming you.
Talk about the Nicene Creed. I had never heard of that until I started preparing for this.
Yeah, so the Nicene Creed was written and confirmed in about the year 380, so a long time ago. And what made it happen was just a bunch of people who were believing wrong stuff about Jesus, some heresies about Jesus. And it has become, for the Christian church, in a time where people are so divided, the Nicene Creed is something that every Christian has to believe in. It's the core fundamental doctrine of the Christian faith, and it's been used throughout history. Devotionally, it's been used at people's baptisms, it's been used for people's confirmations. And so what I wanted to do was take this thing that is so rooted, such a part of our Christian identity, and so ancient, and start to apply it to our modern faith and give us something to stand firm on.
You know, as I'm listening to you, I'm reminded of Ephesians 6, the armor of God, and really kind of covering ourselves in the armor of God. This seems to be another way of rooting ourselves in our spirituality and our faith to make sure that no matter what evil comes upon us, that we're strong enough in our faith or that our faith can sustain us. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, truly. So one of the things that I think is that most people believe that they can get through life just by thinking the right thoughts. And when that happened to me, life would get very difficult. You'd have attacks from the enemy. You'd live in a world that is so destructive that it fills you with fear and dread. And the ancients had this idea that you could also be formed spiritually. You could also mature through beauty. And so what I wanted to do with this book was take the concept of truth and take the concept of beauty. Both of those things find their source in God. And let beauty be a way that we can reflect upon God, that we can experience God and be led to a life of virtue and transformation in our everyday life. So the book has a lot of my art in it, and it functions as this gateway for your own prayer and meditation.
The inspiration through God being reflected on the pages of this book. Good to see you, my friend. I appreciate it and continue success with what you're doing. As I said, I'm going to try it. Hopefully I can get past day 15 and actually get through day 40.
We're rooting for you, Terrance.
There you go. I need all the help I can get, brother. Once again, the book is called Heaven Meets Earth, a 40-day journey of transformation through the Nicene Creed. Josh Trudeau, we appreciate you being here. That's the book right there, folks. You can pick it up wherever you get your books. We're back with the second hour of American Sunrise after this.
Introducing the limited edition God Bless the USA Bible, inspired by Lee Greenwood's hit song and the most recognized patriotic anthem in America, God Bless the USA. The God Bless the USA large print leather-bound King James Bible also contains America's founding documents, the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance, along with a handwritten chorus to Lee Greenwood's song, God Bless the USA. With its large print and slim design, this Bible invites you to explore God's Word anywhere, anytime. The God Bless the USA Bible makes the perfect gift and cherished family heirloom keepsake to pass on to future generations. Designed for an easy reading experience in the trusted King James Version translation, this large print Bible is perfect to take to church, Bible study, work, and for traveling. Order yours today at GodBlessTheUSABible.com.
Exactly what they're doing. They want to steal the election. We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, and we're going to the Capitol. They need to take back our country.
Events in Washington have taken a violent and tumultuous turn.
January 6th wasn't just a moment in history. For thousands of Americans, it was the moment their voices were taken.
It's insurrection.
They were persecuted, hunted.
Seditious conspiracy.
But behind prison walls, something unexpected happened. They found their voice again.
Started singing the national anthem.
We took it up to him at Mar-a-Lago. He goes, I'll put my voice on it.
Our supporters made this go platinum.
Real America's Voice is telling the real story of January 6th like you've never seen it before.
Everybody, this must be peaceful.
This is not the story you were shown.
I take responsibility.
This is the story they live.
Government entrapment scheme that this actually was.
The J6 Patriots are no longer staying silent. They are speaking, they are standing, and they are telling the truth.
You can't kill us. You can't beat us.
Scan the QR code or visit RealAmericasVoice.com. Real America's Voice presents The Sleeping Giant. Available now.
Coming up on the second hour of American Sunrise, an end to the shutdown in sight? The House Rules Committee has advanced the Senate's deal to fund the government. The House set for a vote on the measure later today. We are going to bring you the very latest from dysfunctional Washington. Plus, a new twist in the Jeffrey Epstein's files investigation as Bill and Hillary Clinton break down, well, they don't break down emotionally, but anyhow, they break down and agree to testify before the House Oversight Committee. Will the couple cough up any new details that will shed light on the case? We'll have the latest. Also ahead, a glimmer of hope for the GOP. New polling data showing that American voters continue to trust Republicans more than Democrats on key issues such as the economy and keeping yourself alive like crime. We'll break down the numbers for you. And later, the day the music died. Today marks 55 years that rock and roll stars Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and the Big Bopper were killed in a plane crash that not only took their lives, it ended an era of America's innocence. The moment was captured by singer-songwriter Don McLean in that iconic rock anthem American Pie, and Don McLean will be here later with some breaking news about the legacy they all leave behind. Looking forward to that. We have those stories and much more as the second hour of American Sunrise starts on a Tuesday in February right now. Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Whether it's culture,
we have breaking news to share with you.
Politics.
President Trump is joining us live now from Florida.
We've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrance.
And I'm Dr. Gina.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second hour of American Sunrise. I'm David Brody, coming to you from dysfunctional D.C. Let's bring in Dr. G in West Palm and T. Bates in our Denver newsroom. Hello to you
guys.
You know, I literally, yes, go ahead, T, yes?
No, I'm sorry. I was just going to say I'm so excited for John McClane from Die Hard to be on the show. Looking forward to John McClane from Die Hard to be on the show. Oh, no, it's Don McClane, isn't it? Okay, my bad.
Oh, boy. The Nicene Creed first, and now now Don McClane. I don't know, Terrance, what happens next?
Yeah, but Gina, I know this.
I'm going to start calling you Turnip Truck.
Gina, I understand that you can recite all of the lyrics to
Every
American
word.
Pie.
I can sing
Are we going to get that later this hour?
It's my go-to karaoke. You guys need to come to one of our karaoke parties house. My family hosts them. A lot of times they're the after party for whatever happens at Mar-a-Lago a little earlier. And we start with I sing Don McClane's American Pie song. So I am just like super excited to interview him. This is my second time. Our executive producer, David Brown, has set it up before. I got to interview him in Nashville one time. So this is my second time getting to interview him. But to interview someone who's American Pie,
don't get Gina singing.
Sing it, girl. To the levee, but the levee. See, Terrance, this is real music.
Oh, wow. Okay, with that, Republican House leaders are
I'm in the middle of singing. Hold on. This will be...
Okay, go ahead, David. Go ahead.
See,
I'm done.
He's all ready for karaoke at my house. Take it away, Terrance.
Come on.
Okay, guys. So look, Republican House leaders hoping to get the government back open today. While headed to negotiations in the Capitol on Monday, Steve Scalise reminding his colleagues that failure to pass this spending bill or these spending bills puts soldiers at risk of missing their next paycheck. Meantime, Democrats are holding the funding hostage over more oversight over ICE. In fact, the changes include body cameras for ICE agents as well as forcing agents to unmask during operations. On Monday, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem announced that body cameras are on their way to Minneapolis for use by the agents there. NASA is on schedule to launch its first mission to the moon since 1972. It could happen as soon as this Sunday. The agency conducted a critical test of the equipment on Monday, and a countdown is underway for what's called a wet dress rehearsal in preparation for the real-life launch. 4 astronauts who will take that trip are in quarantine right now and preparing for the big takeoff. There will be no moon landing here, though, just a flyby. And former President Bill Clinton and his wife, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, or former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, are doing an about-face as House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer appears to be moving forward with contempt charges against the former first couple. In a sudden about-face on Monday, the Clintons agreed to testify as part of the House investigation into disgraced sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. You probably remember the House Oversight Committee voted to hold the duo in contempt after they failed to show up for their previously scheduled deposition. That's a quick check of your headlines. Now let's get a quick check of your forecast with Weather Nation meteorologist Tracy Anthony. She's got your hometown forecast for you. Tracy, good morning.
Hey, good morning. You know, doing a shout out to the RavMod 1 on Getter because she mentioned she saw her first falling iguana driving home yesterday. Now, temperature-wise for Cape Coral, Florida, you are on the rebound. So overnight temperatures are going to be in the 40s and 50s. So hopefully you saw an iguana if you were hoping to. It was scenes like this where iguanas were in the middle of the roadway. Yes, this is West Palm Beach, but we have had several days where you could see some falling iguanas. And keeping with the Florida trend, taking you out to Orlando, this from Z on YouTube, where we're going to be warming up the next few days, but by Thursday, a little cool down with a cold front working through. That is going to bring us a chance for some rain showers, but overnight temperatures at least staying above that freezing point. So let's round it out with one more iguana video, this from Hollywood, Florida. Terrance, I don't know about you, but some of those iguanas were starting to move, starting to warm up. I wouldn't wear a blanket of iguanas. Not for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't be around iguanas, period. Kudos to him. Not your boy right here. Couldn't do it. All right, Tracy, appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. Let's get you over to David Brody now. David, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, we don't want anything with iguanas, and Gina's going to adopt them all. Every single iguana that falls from the wherever they're falling from. All right. Speaking of nasty pets, Bill and Hillary Clinton have agreed to testify in the House investigation into the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. A spokesperson for the Clintons says they negotiated in good faith, while Chairman James Comer accuses their team of delay and lack of clarity, even as the committee moves closer to contempt votes. Joining us now with reaction is the editor-in-chief for Just the News, John Solomon. Why did I say it like that? John Solomon. John, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning, guys.
Well, tell us more about Bill and Hillary. They're a piece of work.
Well, they've been through this ringer a few times before. You can all remember the 1998-99 Clinton impeachment where Bill Clinton couldn't get his story straight on Monica Lewinsky. And so they have a long history of doing this dance, and they bring it right up to the brink, and then they fold their cards because at the end of the day, the law is on Republican side, and the precedent is on Republican side. Now, the question is, even though Bill and Hillary Clinton folded their cards now, will the Republicans accept their belated offer, or do they proceed to a contempt vote and say, hey, you had your chance, you missed your deadline, you don't get to come in after the fact, after a game of chicken and do that? That's unclear. We're waiting to see what James Comer says in the next 12 hours because there is a potential to bring this to the House floor. Remember, the House Oversight Committee has already approved the contempt resolution, so that train has left the depot. We'll see where Republicans are. My guess is they'll begrudgingly take this offer at the last minute and get them before the committee for the answers. But there is a possibility that they say the deadline passed, you're in contempt, you're getting the Bannon and Navarro treatment, and they send that on to the Justice Department for prosecution. So to be determined, but the long history of the Clintons, particularly when it comes to cooperation and investigations, well documented.
Yeah. All right, John, so I'm going to follow you into this contempt vote weeds. Would it be possible, and I really don't know, that's why I'm asking this question. Typically, I'll ask a question I already know the answer to, but I don't know here. Would it be possible for the House in this particular case to go ahead and move forward with the contempt vote, hold the Clintons in contempt, and then rescind that vote, rescind the contempt if and when the Clintons do in fact testify? Is that possible? Is that a possibility?
Everything's possible. It's hard to rescind, right? Because once you do something, it's in the congressional record, it's an official thing. But they could find them in contempt, send the referral to the Justice Department, then take their testimony, and then have the Justice Department say, all right, it's a moot issue now because Congress got what it wanted, and leave it at that. That's a possibility. Rescinding is a little bit harder because you'd have to literally go back and reverse an action of Congress, which doesn't very often happen. My guess is, given that the Clintons did this, that the majority votes that the Republicans have are a little more wobbly. And so we'll have to wait and see. I think they're counting heads right now, is what my sources told me this morning, to see how many votes they actually have.
Okay.
John, I'm curious to get your take on this massive Epstein dump overnight. I, like an idiot, stayed up watching it like the most horrific horror film I've ever seen and read in my entire life. I had no idea that kind of stuff was in there. John, did any of it surprise you? What's our takeaway, and are any heads really going to roll?
So the takeaway is that this man was a monster, and the machinery around him was monstrous, and it victimized women. And the Bush Justice Department, as early as 2007, had an opportunity to shut it down in a big way, and it whiffed. And then the Florida state authorities gave him a tap on the hand. The real tragedy of this story is that a decade of women's abuses could have been stopped back during the George W. Bush era of the Justice Department, and they failed to do it. Now, in these documents, there's a lot of salacious things. Many of those things are very unverified. Some of them turned out to be knocked down or never corroborated. But you get a sense of the things that are corroborated when you get a sense of the actual emails. People coming in 30 years later saying this happened, a little bit difficult for the FBI to nail down. But when you see internal emails in real time where people are arranging these sort of sexual liaisons and other things, you get a sense that this was a systemic and well-known operation, a dirty secret that the United States government allowed to continue on for a very long time. And the last piece of it is, while the Democrats built this up as a Trump liability, it is very clear from the documents we now have that the Democrats had a far significant, more scandalous relationship with Epstein, far more embarrassing long-term to the Democratic Party. This ends up to being a net negative loss for the Democratic Party now that all the documents are out.
John Solomon, great to have you. Sadly, crickets seem to be in order when it comes to prosecutions on this. We'll see what happens. But, John, thank you so very much.
I fear you're right.
Thanks,
I think there may be nothing else. Take care, guys.
Yeah. All right.
John.
Thanks again. Coming up, a complaint against a federal judge who was accused of making biased statements against the Trump administration has been tossed out. Not the judge. We're going to talk about the decision and why it's raising fresh questions about judicial impartiality. That's next.
All the kids are leering in fake daycares. The Somali wolves. The Somali wolves.
Full capital entry. Full capital entry.
The radical left knows exactly what they're doing. They want to steal the election. We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, and we're going to the Capitol. They need to take back our country.
Events in Washington have taken a violent and tumultuous turn.
January 6th wasn't just a moment in history. For thousands of Americans, it was the moment their voices were taken.
It's insurrection.
They were persecuted, hunted,
Seditious conspiracy.
but behind prison walls, something unexpected happened. They found their voice again.
Started singing the national anthem.
We took it up to him at Mar-a-Lago. He goes, I'll put my voice on it.
Our supporters made this go platinum.
Real America's Voice is telling the real story of January 6th like you've never seen it before.
Everybody, this must be peaceful.
This is not the story you were shown.
I take responsibility.
This is the story they live.
Government entrapment scheme that this actually was.
The J6 Patriots are no longer staying silent. They are speaking, they are standing, and they are telling the truth.
You can't kill us. You can't beat us.
Scan the QR code or visit RealAmericasVoice.com. Real America's Voice presents The Sleeping Giant. Available now.
Welcome back to American Sunrise. I'm Emily Finn. Time now to drain the swamp. And this morning, we are flushing out blatant bias in our judicial system. A federal appeals court has thrown out the Justice Department's misconduct complaint against Judge James Boasberg. The move comes a year after Boasberg and other D.C. judges were caught making biased remarks about the Trump administration during a private judicial conference. Comments experts say should never have been made about pending cases. But the appeals court said those remarks did not meet the threshold for a conduct violation, even as Boasberg continues to preside over major cases involving deportations and executive authority. We want to know what you think. Let us know on Rumble or Getter. Hop on and let your voice be heard. Coming up on American Sunrise, we're taking you to El Salvador for an inside look at the notorious CCOT prison, home to thousands of incarcerated MS-13 gang members. That's next after the break. Stay with us.
When the lights go down, the truth comes out.
This is built like a chicken McNugget, but
This is After Hours with Alex Stein. No filter.
you're a globalist. You don't care about America.
No apologies.
You're a pro-abortion when you should have been aborted.
The undisputed king of trolling.
I was recently sexually assaulted within the metaverse.
I want to vaccinate your mom.
They tried to cancel us.
Deplatforming works.
She wants to kill babies, but she's still beautiful. Look at that booty on AOC. That's my favorite big booty Latina.
Politics, culture, hypocrisy.
They want them to have their penises cut off.
Uncensored and uncontrolled.
That's what I'm saying. They admit they want to cut people's penises off.
Late night just got dangerous. After Hours with Alex Stein. Coming soon to Real America's Voice.
Full capital entry. Full capital entry.
The radical left knows exactly what they're doing. They want to steal the election. We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, and we're going to the Capitol. They need to take back our country.
Events in Washington have taken a violent and tumultuous turn.
January 6th wasn't just a moment in history. For thousands of Americans, it was the moment their voices were taken.
It's insurrection.
They were persecuted, hunted,
Seditious conspiracy.
but behind prison walls, something unexpected happened. They found their voice again.
Started singing the national anthem.
We took it up to him at Mar-a-Lago. He goes, I'll put my voice on it.
Our supporters made this go platinum.
Real America's Voice is telling the real story of January 6th like you've never seen it before.
Everybody, this must be peaceful.
This is not the story you were shown.
I take responsibility.
This is the story they live.
Government entrapment scheme that this actually was.
The J6 Patriots are no longer staying silent. They are speaking, they are standing, and they are telling the truth.
You can't kill us. You can't beat us.
Scan the QR code or visit RealAmericasVoice.com. Real America's Voice presents The Sleeping Giant. Available now.
Here's a live look at the White House. Another busy day is on tap there. We, of course, will have coverage of the goings and comings at the White House throughout the day. In the meantime, we're going to get you ready for the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. It's set to ring here in just a few minutes. Here's a quick look at pre-market trading. The board generally looking good. The Dow is the only blemish right now. The rest of the board is in the green. Again, a live up-to-the-minute update coming your way here in just a little bit. But first, let's get you over to David. David, good morning.
Good morning, T. Bates. Okay, this morning we're taking you to one of the world's most famous prisons, CCOT, where the worst of the worst from around the Western Hemisphere are incarcerated. This massive security facility was built as part of El Salvador President hardline anti-gang campaign, a campaign that has seen tens of thousands arrested and scores of violent gang members locked away. CCOT can hold up to 40,000 inmates. including members of MS-13 and Barrio 18, and is meant to isolate them completely from society. So RAV correspondent Oscar Ramirez is on the ground there, and take a look at this. He has the story. He's inside the jail. Take a look. Prison.
We're located inside of the prison of Secot. This is what it needs to be done in every part in Central America and in South America. This is how you fight terrorism. This is how you clean a country. This is how you bring peace to the citizens, not stepping away from them, not running away from the problems. This right here is how you resolve a problem, to remove every single terrorist that is located right here. It is because they were terrorizing the Salvadorian people, Central America and South America. This is a message to all of you in the United States of America who they are terrorizing with their domestic violence. This is where you need to be located if you continue like that. Nayib Bukele set up the example as a copy-paste to bring peace to the citizens. And this goes to all of you. Claudia Sheinbaum that protects the cartels to not designate them as terrorists. Look what the example. To all the regime in Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, Diosdado Cabello, this is how you resolve a problem. You don't resolve a problem from running away from it. You resolve a problem from attacking it from within and fixing the problem to bring peace to the citizens. Democrats and you, Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi, and Omar Rashida Tlaib, all you progressive mercenary politicians, here you are. If you want to take them, go ahead. Come and get them and take them home. They're waiting for you. Just defend their human rights.
Catalogado como corredor de programa, de tatuajes alusivos a la estructura a la que pertenece, el sujeto está condenado porque fue quien planificó y ordenó el homicidio de un juez de paz de la ciudad de Melguera del Golfo, en el oriente del país. Hasta ese nivel llegaban estas estructuras criminales de atacar a miembros del sistema judicial por el simple hecho de perseguirlos y condenarlos. Este sujeto es uno de los responsables. Está condenado a 780 años de prisión.
I mean, my goodness. Joining us now is RAV correspondent Oscar L. Blue Ramirez, joining us from El Salvador. Oscar, wow. I understand there's like 80 prisoners in a cell. It's pretty much a lockdown 24/7. They don't get, let's see, I'm looking at the list here. No phone calls, no family visits, no TV. I mean, this ain't anything like a jail in America. Tell us more. My goodness.
These are terrorists. This is the way that they need to be treated. The capacity is for 40,000. Now they are at a 50% capacity. This is a way you fix a problem, David. And this is what the Democrats and Joe Biden were letting in consistently through open borders. These individuals, a lot of them were extradited from the United States of America into the hands of Nayib Bukele, these MS gang members that were operating freely inside of the United States, like Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, Denver, and all the borders through Mexico and the United States, aligning themselves with cartels in Mexico. These are extreme, dangerous criminals. A lot, you saw the example of this guy getting 780 years of prison. There was another example of another individual who had more than 50 assassinations, and he is going to serve 950 years. They're not playing around. This is a high maximum security, and this is a way you resolve a problem with domestic terrorists and terrorists that were terrorizing the whole continent.
Oscar, are they trying to kill each other? They're in the cell. These are bad dudes. I mean, what's the deal there?
It is incredible what they have done. The dominance and also the submission now by the authorities into these gang members. It is incredible. Before the MS-18, MS-13, and there was another MS, revolutionary group. They hated each other. They killed each other, and they were fighting each other on every single neighborhood over here in El Salvador. Now, the government of Nayib Bukele has managed to put them all together. They don't have ranks. they don't have authority. They need to live and understand that they are never going to see the light of day. And this is what they're going to be, spending their lives. They better deal with each other the whole rest of their lives inside of Secot.
I got to tell you, a couple of years ago, I wasn't going anywhere near El Salvador for a vacation. It seems much different. Tell us more now about what's going on the streets of El Salvador.
It is incredible. You see tourists. Yesterday, I saw, servicemen from the United States of America here. You see a lot of Americans. Every hotel is full with tourists. It is incredible what Nayib Bukele has done to this country. And it is an example of what can be achieved through Central America, North America, and ultimately in the streets in the United States of America. It is a copy paste of what can we do. The economy, it is also on the high rise. Tourism is on the high rise. And the most important thing, David, is that the people are at peace. I was walking yesterday with the Minister of Defense of El Salvador through the streets of El Salvador, and everybody was taking a picture with him, and they were basically telling him thank you for every single thing that they have done. So it is incredible with the change of this country, what they have done, and it's an example for every single one in Central and North America, David.
Yeah, my understanding is his popularity is through the roof there. So what's stopping folks here in America from doing this? Is it just liberal policies, or because, you've got Trump, but he's president. This has to be done since we're America and it's federalism and we've got state laws and regulations. It just seems like it's going to be ultimately up to each state.
Yes, absolutely. If Trump had the authority, he can basically execute this plan and do exactly what Nayib Bukele has done. It's just liberal policy, the ultimate obstacle of the president of the United States of America. It is the liberal Democrats. That is the number one. And also the neighbor that he has underneath, that is Mexico. Do you have a president in Mexico that doesn't want to designate the cartels as terrorists? That is the number one that he can go in and combat and fight these bad dudes and just completely eradicate them from this planet. But I believe inside of the United States of America, it's all about liberal policies. It's all about the leftist, far progressive leftist communists, that they're just basically objecting for Donald Trump to clean up this mess that is continuously growing in the United States.
Oscar, we have about 30 seconds left. Just watching that video, I could sense and feel the evil coming through the screen. You were there in person. What is that like? I know they're behind bars, and you've been in a lot of dangerous places, but that felt, from a spiritual perspective, extremely evil.
Well, we always walk with God and always believe in our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So we have that, we always have that mindset that we are protected by our Lord and Savior. So when we go in there, I don't have no feelings whatsoever for them. They're the worst of the worst, and they deserve that, and they deserve worse. They're lucky that they are still alive and they're getting feed and they're getting their humanitarian right treatment. But, we understood where we were going in, and, we felt nothing for them.
No, I understand. I was just commenting more about just the evil, the spirituality of the situation, because that's just downright evil, what's in that side.
Yes, absolutely.
Oscar, great to have you. My goodness, what amazing work. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, David, for the invitation.
You bet. All right, the opening bell for the New York Stock Exchange, sponsored by AMAC.
The Association of Mature American Citizens is the conservative voice for Americans 50 and older. AMAC is fighting for the values that you hold dear. Join today. Together, we can write the course of America.
The applause is underway at the New York Stock Exchange. Oracle is at the podium, which means the bell is going to ring here in short order. And then we'll get an idea of how the markets are looking on this Tuesday of trading. Right on cue, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The market's officially opening. And just like that, it looks like it's not a huge change from when we showed you the pre-market trading. As you can see, the Dow is still down. The rest of the markets, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, are still in the green at this point. Just one other blemish on the screen. If you're going to be trading today, we wish you all the best. International disputes, inflation, rising national debt, digital currency. There's There's a never-ending list of reasons why gold has risen over 700% in the last year, or the last 20 years specifically. A never-ending list of reasons that smart Americans are also diversifying a portion of their savings into precious metals with the Birch Gold Group. More than any other commodity on Earth, gold thrives during times of uncertainty, which is why it's a crucial part of a balanced strategy. It gives you peace of mind given all the events that could impact the U.S. economy. So, if holding gold in a tax-sheltered retirement account is right for you, you may want to check out the folks over at the Birch Gold Group. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or a 401k into an IRA in gold. Simply text the word America to the number 989898 to receive your free information kit on gold. There's no obligation here, just useful information. With an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of satisfied customers, allow the Birch Gold Group to help you diversify your gold or diversify with gold so that you too can have peace of mind regardless of the uncertainty. Text America to the number 989898. Again, text America to the number 989898 today. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back here on American Sunrise, a new poll out this week shows that Republicans are gaining ground with voters on some of the most high-priority issues heading into the midterms. We'll break down the numbers for you. First, though, a new show, After Hours with Alex Stein, is launched. Here's a preview of what to expect.
When the lights go down, the truth comes out.
This is built like a chicken McNugget, but
This is After Hours with Alex Stein. No filter.
you're a globalist. You don't care about America.
No apologies.
You're a pro-abortion when you should have been aborted.
The undisputed king of trolling.
I was recently sexually assaulted within the metaverse.
I want to vaccinate your mom.
They tried to cancel us.
Deplatforming works.
She wants to kill babies, but she's still beautiful. Look at that booty on AOC. That's my favorite big booty Latina.
Politics, culture, hypocrisy.
They want them to have their penises cut off.
Uncensored and uncontrolled.
That's what I'm saying. They admit they want to cut people's penises off.
Late night just got dangerous. After Hours with Alex Stein. Coming soon to Real America's Voice. Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with your Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Did you ever wonder what truly happened in the COVID-19 pandemic and whether Anthony Fauci would ever be held accountable? I think we all have. Filmmaker Jenner First has an upcoming documentary that searches for truth, transparency, and accountability called Thank You, Dr. Fauci.
Governments lie.
Anthony Fauci put everyone on the planet at risk without their consent.
It's beyond suspicious.
Research caused a pandemic, killed 20 million, and cost $25 trillion. Fauci would prefer a lie.
Public trust, national health, and global security are at stake as this documentary digs through thousands of pages of documents and interviews with former officials and whistleblowers in the most controversial narrative of our time that may also be one of the largest cover-ups in modern public health history.
It was a cover. Why would he trade the Chinese the most advanced biotechnology in the world?
He's a spy. It's insane.
I don't think this is going to be foolproof. Things are going to slip through.
Fauci knew and lied repeatedly.
Rather than being a partisan hit piece, Thank You, Dr. Fauci is an honest look at the origins of COVID-19 and a potential bioarms race with China. It streams exclusively on Angel Studios app and site starting on October 23rd. And all you need to do is go to angel.com/Rav to stream it. So be ready to watch, question, and share as the quest for truth and accountability continues.
When the lights go down, the truth comes out.
This is built like a chicken McNugget, but
This is After
All right, right, welcome back to American Sunrise. Don McLean coming up in the show you won't want to miss. I'm Dr. G. Thanks for joining us this morning. We invite you to hop on in our conversation on Getter and Rumble. It is time now to take the political pulse of America. The Beat today, a new national poll says the Republican Party is gaining ground with voters on several key issues as the 2026 midterm elections draw nigh. According to the Napolitan News Service survey, Republicans are now favorable over Democrats on issues like immigration, national security, crime, the economy, gun laws, and inflation, measures that have long been central to this year's political debate. The survey found GOP advantages on national security, crime, immigration, and the economy, even as Democrats retain trust leads on issues like healthcare, education, abortion, and climate change. When voters were asked which party they trust more overall, Republicans held a narrow edge, 41-39. Joining us now with analysis, the host of America's Voice Live and the Steve Gruber Show. Steve Gruber, good gravy. How in the world can anyone trust Democrats more? Look what all you have to do is look at every single blue state and blue city and see what has happened there versus red states and red cities. See what's happened to families, see what's happened to minorities, see what's happened with crime, see what's happened with rape, I mean, the list goes on and on. What the heck is wrong with people?
You know, I saw the most striking thing out of Virginia where Abigail Spanberger ran on affordability. They have 50 new tax proposals. Let's see, a tax on walking your dog, fixing your car, fixing your house, getting a tan, getting a gym membership, and the list just goes on and on. How does that make life more affordable? Plus, Virginia, one of those deep blue states that wants this renewable energy thingy going on, right? I had a couple of folks on my program here. Their electric bill went from $300 a few months ago to $625. The girl said it's more than her car payment. I mean, seriously, folks, the bad energy policy leads to bad fiscal policy, which leads to bad things for you. 50 new taxes. How is that affordable? A gym tax? A grooming tax on my dog? A walking tax on my dog? Seriously. When are they going to start taxing the air that I breathe and the water that I drink? Oh, wait a second. I don't want to give them ideas. I just might. It's crazy. Meanwhile, in the economy, factory orders are up 5.5%. American Steel just exceeded Japan in production here at home for the first time in 30 years. First American aluminum factory opening for the first time in America in 40 years. Oh, and John Deere, Whirlpool, Jeep, and Apple, all bringing the factories back here to the United States. Yes, the economy, as I have said for months, will be the leading factor in the election of 2026, probably in 2028 as well. We're seeing the economy do good things, but it takes a while to reverse all this damage. I mean, the fact of the matter is, folks, here's a number that's going to shock you. We hear about $40 trillion in debt, roughly, we have. That's not even close. We have 4 times that debt. When you look at unfunded liabilities, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, we have about $150 trillion in debt in this country. And if we don't get our act together, we're going to have a debt crisis like you've never seen before. So please, let Donald Trump work. Let him bring factories home. Let him lower the cost of doing business here in America. You won't have to worry about tariffs if everything's being built in America. That's a fact.
Yeah, that's a great answer, Steve. But though I have to tell you, back to Gina for a quick second. Good gravy. Wow, I've never really heard that term, good gravy. I'm sorry. I'm still stuck on that. That's very Ozark, very Missouri. We don't do that in New York. You never hear in New York people run around going, good gravy.
Have you ever had bad gravy?
I've never had bad gravy. No, I never have.
I've had some lumpy gravy in my day, but that's just my cooking.
And Steve, that's our next question to you. Have you had lumpy gravy, Steve? That's that's the
I've never been to Terrance's house, but I'm looking forward to the invite. I'll just go with that.
Okay, good to know.
You got an open invitation. The day you come, I'll make sure that I don't make the gravy.
Fair enough. Well, good gravy. Let's talk about something else. So, Steve, elections often come down to money, and we're learning now that the Republican National Committee, the RNC, currently outpacing the Democrats and shoring up funding ahead of the midterm elections. They've got a basically $100 million advantage at the close of 2025. Okay, yippee, whatever. You got a lot of money. Now, what are you going to do with it? And are you going to win the midterms?
That's important.
So why don't you take it from here?
Well, that's important. In fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, if I read this properly yesterday, the DNC is negative $17 million. They're in the hole. They've never recovered from the Kamala Harris fiasco. You know, they still owed the frontline workers, the little guys in the Kamala Harris campaign were still owed $2 million months after that campaign had collapsed and failed. The Republicans have $100 million. You're right. But the problem is organization. Are they going to get out? Are they going to knock doors? Are they going to shake hands? Are they going to kiss babies? I mean, you have to get out there and press the flesh, because lately we've had this horde of voters that vote when Donald Trump's on the ballot, but do not vote in midterms. We've got to change that dynamic. We have to change that metric, or Donald Trump will be a lame duck president facing impeachment for the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 10th time. Good Lord, stop it. So the only way you prevent that from happening is getting to the ballot box. Don't be an only Trump voter. Get out there and vote, because it matters. And right now, what do we have? A 1-2 seat advantage in the House of Representatives. So if anybody goes rogue, Speaker Johnson can do nothing. In the Senate, much better shape. Donald Trump came out and endorsed John Sununu, New Hampshire, said he's an American first patriot. It's a smart move on the president's part. Former senator, likely to be senator again in New Hampshire. That'd be a huge pickup for Republicans. Plus, you can pick up seats in Georgia, Michigan, and look at Minnesota. Do not take them off the table. You're going to have 2 open Senate seats as soon as Amy Klobuchar announces her run for governor, which is inevitable. You heard it here. You'll have 2 open seats in the state of Minnesota. And you may have noticed, folks, recently, Minnesota's got a few messes on their hands. And I'm not sure voters are going to reward the folks in Minnesota for that mess. What are your thoughts?
No, I tend to agree with you on that very issue. But I would also warn that Republicans need some really strong candidates. Like, the fundraising alone isn't going to do it. You need some really strong candidates who are America first, who are even MAGA. I think, unfortunately, that's part of the conversation that's often overlooked. It's, oh, we've got the money, we've got to mobilize, but you also need good candidates, Steve.
Well, you do, and I'm going to counsel folks a little bit here, Terrance, because good candidates, you have to know your audience. For example, in Maine, Susan Collins, not a big, not a fan favorite for MAGA people all over this country. But if not for Susan Collins, you wouldn't have a Republican seat in Maine at all. You got to think about that. Alaska, I think they could do a lot better. But in Maine, Susan Collins is about the best you're going to get. If she gets pushed out of the way and you end up with a radical Democrat, which you would, right? You'd get the governor that's going to run for the Senate seat there as the Democrat. So sometimes you have to look at what's available to your voting public, and in Maine, that's the best you're going to do. In other places, you can be more aggressive, and you're right. You have to have stand-up candidates that are going to do a good job and put America first. Is it really that hard of a concept?
Yeah, so just you said America first, just real quick, to just interject for a second, but Sununu, okay, I get it, New Hampshire, right, to your point, that's fine, but he ain't America first. He was a Nikki Haley guy.
Well, he's a guy, Donald Trump says he's an American first patriot. I know, he said so yesterday. He has his complete total endorsement. So look, again, you get what is available. And sometimes you're not going to get the hardcore conservatives. Sometimes you're going to get the Susan Collins. Sometimes you're going to get the Sununu. You do. But it's better than the alternative, because, look, Susan Collins voted for those Supreme Court justices. That's an important consideration going forward when you have 2 justices, Alito and Thomas, that are both 80 or crowding 80. That's a big consideration for the second half of Trump's second term here. You have to think about these things and think sometimes strategically, not just ideology. We don't do litmus tests in the Republican Party, from what I remember. We find the best people that fit the best scenario. And in some cases, that's not going to be a MAGA favorite, but it's going to be better than the alternative.
Okay, Steve, well, listen.
Stop speaking common sense. Sorry, Dr. Gina.
I am a little groggy this morning because I stayed up all night reading all of the stuff coming out on X and on Instagram. What's the little one that with the little turny thing? You know what I'm talking about? That other Instagram thing that you can follow, like a Threads. It's called Threads. There you go.
Threads.
Yeah, I just talked myself right into that. And I have to tell you, Steve, I was totally unprepared. I knew about the children. I knew there was a ring. I think I maybe thought it was like 20 people, and I think I maybe thought it happened over a year or two with maybe a dozen children, 2 dozen children. I had no idea the depth of the things that I would read last night and realizing that you probably did not stay up all night and read it, I think the part that's disturbing me the most is the absolute silence of the media this morning. No one's talking about it. Yet if you go on X or you go on Threads or you go on any social media right now, that's all you see, because you know what? This is what America cares about. Some people are saying Epstein's a distraction. I'm saying Epstein is a distraction because this has to do, it looks to me, not just with what happened to these girls, which is reprehensible and horrific and straight out of a movie. Like, I couldn't even believe the videos I watched last night on this. But it also has to do with what's happening in our country. It has to do with COVID. It has to do with cancer. It has to do with plagues. It has to do with wars. The list goes on and on, Steve. Why is the media shutting this down?
Because the media doesn't like the narrative. You know that. They pick and choose the stories that they focus on and ignore the ones they don't want to talk about. I'll give you an example. And look, I'm going to tell you how we're different today than the other side. Nancy Guthrie is missing, the 84-year-old mother of Savannah Guthrie. We all know that. It's top of the fold. And here's how we're different. We're different because we pray for this woman and hope that she comes home. We don't celebrate the fact that she's missing or the fact that she put out anti-ICE tweets. I don't care about that right now. It's somebody's mom. That's how the right is different. We don't celebrate people being destroyed. Now, when it comes to child trafficking, it is a scourge on this country. And it has been for decades in my whole life. It is time to clean up our act, get these people in prison, and stop the human trafficking of children that goes on in this country every single day to a magnitude most people are not even aware of. It has to stop. We need to drop the hammer on these people. And it starts by, I want answers from Bill Clinton.
Yes.
I want answers from Bill Clinton today about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and why his picture was on the wall of the mansion. There.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. I encourage this audience to take a really hard look at what was put out in that dump, because a lot of it, I think, it shocked me anyway. Steve Gruber, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, coming up, you guys, a long, long time ago, Don McLean marks 55 years of American Pie, and now a legendary music hall is going to immortalize him, as it should, in bronze. The legendary musician joins us right after the break. Don't go away.
And them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, "This'll be the day that I die."
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with your Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Did you ever wonder what truly happened in the COVID-19 pandemic and whether Anthony Fauci would ever be held accountable? I think we all have. Filmmaker Jenner First has an upcoming documentary that searches for truth, transparency, and accountability called Thank You, Dr. Fauci.
Governments lie.
Anthony Fauci put everyone on the planet at risk without their consent.
It's beyond suspicious.
Research caused a pandemic, killed 20 million, and cost $25 trillion. Fauci would prefer a lie.
Public trust, national health, and global security are at stake as this documentary digs through thousands of pages of documents and interviews with former officials and whistleblowers in the most controversial narrative of our time that may also be one of the largest cover-ups in modern public health history.
It was the cover.
Why would he trade the Chinese the most advanced biotechnology in the world?
He's a spy.
It's insane.
I don't think this is going to be foolproof. Things are going to slip through.
Fauci knew and lied repeatedly.
Rather than being a partisan hit piece, Thank You, Dr. Fauci is an honest look at the origins of COVID-19 and a potential bioarms race with China. It streams exclusively on Angel Studios app and site starting on October 23rd. And all you need to do is go to angel.com/Rav to stream it. So be ready to watch, question, and share as the quest for truth and accountability continues.
When the lights go down, the truth comes out.
This is built like a chicken McNugget, but
this is After. Let's spill some tea.
All right, y'all, it's getting real. Let's spill some tea. It's sponsored by Artillery Tea Co., the veteran-owned patriotic brand delivering premium whole leaf biodegradable sachet tea that brews twice as strong. Patriots, if you love great tea on your terms, check out the Patriots Brew Club. For automatic shipments that you get to control, you can cancel or swap flavors anytime, no commitments. You'll also get free shipping on every order, tiered discounts up to 20%, and free milestone rewards along the way. Brew strong and stay patriotic. Head to artilleryteaco.com right now. Click on Join the Patriots Brew Club. That'll get you started. All right, it is time to spill some tea. And in the cup today, an iconic moment in American music and history, really. 55 years after its release, Don McLean's American Pie, still shaping our culture, and now it is being immortalized in a whole new way. The Surf Ballroom in Clear Lake, Iowa, the legendary venue tied to the day the music died, has announced a life-size bronze statue of Don McLean set to be unveiled in 2027. You can see the clay mock-up right here. It's going to look like that. I'd recognize that anywhere. The honor comes as McLean celebrates the song's 55th anniversary on tour, continuing a legacy that has spanned generations. Today also, by the way, notoriously marks the day the music actually died, when American rock and roll legends Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and J.P. Richardson were all killed in a plane crash. Any of us alive anytime around then definitely remember that big news. Joining us now with more is the Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter himself, Don McLean. Don, welcome to American Sunrise. It is such a huge honor to have you. I think,
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things about American Pie that I realize is it has been decoded so many times for 50 plus years. But what do people still miss that you were really mourning that day?
I don't think they've missed much, and they invent a lot of stuff also. But I did this movie, The Day the Music Died, the story of Don McLean's American Pie. And I sat there and I talked about the lyrics from the very beginning. And actually, one of the cameramen had to prompt me because I was forgetting them, and told them exactly what I was thinking as I wrote the song. It's made no impact whatsoever. People still want to ask me what it's about, and I told them what it's about in the movie. Some stuff was made up, and some things were designed to get you to think about the 60s or whatever, and certainly the Buddy Holly part in the beginning. But what I learned about this song, believe it or not, because I did this movie, it took 2 years, was that it took me 10 years to write this song. I was thinking about the Buddy Holly event, and I was trying to write a big song about America. I wanted to write, I didn't want to write a song about, God bless America, or, America the Beautiful, or I wanted to write a brand new song about America and all the craziness and the frantic nature of America, because we have so many different people in our country who all know that they can make their fortune here. There are very few restrictions on anyone going to the top. And look at the people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and these people who've done what they've done. So this is a place where people come in order to really find their dreams. If you want to be safe, you can live in a socialist country, and you'll have everything taken care of, and it's pretty boring, and they don't really produce a lot, these places. But America produces everything, including rock and roll. We invented rock and roll. In fact, the title song of the album I made last is American Boys, and that song is American Boys Invented Rock and Roll. I don't want people to think I use the title American all the time, because I've only used it twice in 50 years. But American Boys talks about that. Jazz, we invented jazz. The blues, we invented the blues. This comes from the South. You're not going to find B.B. King or Muddy Waters at Buckingham Palace in London.
Yeah.
No, they don't have the blues.
Yeah.
The British had ballads brought over, but we invented these things. It's important, I think. I like Americans to feel good about the amazing things that we accomplish in this country because we are free and because we are, the sky's the limit.
Absolutely. The Surf Ballroom is going to unveil this amazing statue to honor this legacy. What do you think the guys that went down in the plane that day, what do you think they would say about that?
I have no idea what they would say, but I know that there wouldn't be a day that music died without American Pie, and I think that's why the Surf Ballroom wants to do this. Special. And it's a very unique thing, and I think there'll be future statues, of course, making the Surf Ballroom an even more interesting place to visit. So this is a new thing. It's the first thing, and it's going to be done by my friend Zenos Frudakis, who just recently finished a 9 or 10-foot sculpture in Lewiston, Maine, of Muhammad Ali. Wow. And he's done all sorts of historical figures. And I met him 40 years ago when he came to see me to do a bust because he wanted to sculpt some people that he liked, and he liked my music.
Aww.
So we met.
That's so amazing. Well, we will look forward to seeing this actually bronzed from the clay. And you'll have to let us know when you're in Palm Beach. We'd love to have you in studio. Don McLean, thank you for a lifetime of beautiful music.
Well, it's very kind of you, and I would love to be in your studio sometime.
All right, we'll have you. You let us know when you're going to be here. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Coming up, our own David Brody standing by with the story he's been keeping his eye on today. The one to watch is next. It's right after the break.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with your Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Did you ever wonder what truly happened in the COVID-19 pandemic and whether Anthony Fauci would ever be held accountable? I think we all have. Filmmaker Jenner First has an upcoming documentary that searches for truth, transparency, and accountability called Thank You, Dr. Fauci.
Governments lie.
Anthony Fauci put everyone on the planet at risk without their consent.
It's beyond suspicious.
Research caused a pandemic, killed 20 million, and cost $25 trillion. Fauci would prefer a lie.
Public trust, national health, and global security are at stake as this documentary digs through thousands of pages of documents and interviews with former officials and whistleblowers in the most controversial narrative of our time that may also be one of the largest cover-ups in modern public health history.
There was a cover-up.
Why would we trade the Chinese the most advanced biotechnology in the world?
He's a spy.
It's insane.
I don't think this is going to be foolproof. Things are going to slip through.
Fauci knew and lied repeatedly.
Rather than being a partisan hit piece, Thank You, Dr. Fauci is an honest look at the origins of COVID-19 and a potential bioarms race with China. It streams exclusively on Angel Studios app and site starting on October 23rd. And all you need to do is go to angel.com/Rav to stream it. So be ready to watch, question, and share as the quest for truth and accountability continues.